Hello, hello, hello. Huge major news breaking tonight, breaking as we speak. Um just huge news in Spurs community. Harry Kane is officially gone. Um David Orstein, who has been solid on this news from the beginning to the end, says Harry Kane is on board to fly out to Bayern to complete his deal. They have agreed to personal terms. That was the last thing that needed to happen earlier in the day. We know that Tottenham had agreed. The only saving grace was Harry Kane going to have um, second, secondhand thoughts. Will he renege or rescind what the CEO had said weeks ago, maybe a month ago, that if Harry Kane's a man of his word, um, that this deal is going to go through. And so now he is cleared for a medical, and it is done. The Harry Kane era is over. My opinions was this needed to happen. We could not lose him for free on a free. Um, we had to recoup some funds, and this is happening. So it's just that I've been here since Berbatov left, Gareth Bale has left, Modric has left, Kyle Walker. Though Kane is a different echelon, I think the closest was Gareth Bale. I was truly upset when Gareth Bale left, and that's when my heart was conditioned. Hey, this is football. This is the name of the game. Players come and go. We can celebrate the memories, but sooner or later, it's a rarity if you have the Francisco Tatis of the world, who stay with one club with Roma, right? Even Messi, who is one of my favorite players, is my favorite player of all time, who's the GOAT. He left Barcelona. He's doing bits. He's doing work in Miami. So it is what it is. And so there are many reasons for it. We will discuss it tonight. How did we get to this point? And will we be able to move on? We've moved on from Bale. We've moved on from Berbatov. We've, we've been able to move on. And so we'll get to talk about this. I'll post the link. This show's for you guys. Share your Harry Kane experiences, your memories. Have Stefan here, who's from the enemy side, but it's good to get a good perspective. It's good to get a good perspective of what others who are what they're thinking about, Harry Kane's legacy, the whole situation with Kane and Arsenal. So we're gonna have more people jump in. I send the link, so there may be as much as 9 people, either from the chat or from um, the links WhatsApp group. More people are coming in, but we had to do an emergency stream. And Stefan, from an Arsenal fans perspective, well, from a football fans perspective, um, Harry Kane is leaving Spurs. He's been a staple in our club for 10 years, well, his whole
Oh,
life.
yeah. First of all, Mars, thank you for having me on the show. Can you hear me okay? Because
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
on
yeah.
vacation and the internet here isn't the best. Is everything okay audio wise?
Yep,
Yeah.
perfect.
If you want my honest take, so my honest take as an Arsenal fan is that Spurs fans need to remember that there's no player bigger than the club. Yes, I know Harry Kane is probably your greatest ever player, and it's a surreal ending to everything that in terms of him leaving the club. It's even for me, seeing him in a Bayern Munich shirt will be just weird. Like just seeing him in a different colored shirt. However, when you just look upon the actual situation, I think what Spurs did was the right thing. You had to sell him. You could not risk him leaving for free. And this ridiculous notion that Spurs fans were saying that, oh, we should keep him and just, he can leave for free. I think it's just, one, it's irresponsible, and two, it's a bit small club mentality ish. No big club lets that happen, where they have a player who wants to leave and they sell him in the right way. And from another perspective, from his own perspective, if Kane wants to leave in the best way possible, he should do it in the same way Declan Rice left West Ham. He gives them 100 million so they can use to actually spend, rebuild, buy some new players, and just, and move on. The same with Grealish. So for me, it's a sad day for Spurs, but you know what? On on another note, you can also look at the fact that Harry Kane, well, no matter his goals and his greatness in the Prem, he was also part of all of Spurs' failures. As an opposing fan, he was part of numerous teams that a number of Spurs teams that made big games, big finals, and he didn't perform. So he was also part of that failed, I would call, regime under Poch, under Mourinho, under Conte. So I think it's going to be difficult, of course, to replace him. He's irreplaceable to Spurs, but it could be a start of a new era, a breath of fresh air, and you know, I'm not saying that you guys are gonna find someone better than Kane, but this whole saga, the constant rumors, the constant speculation, it needed to end at some point, and it looks like it has ended. So let's see what happens.
Okay. Brother Stell has just jumped on the stream. I kind of gave a short monologue of this whole situation, the finality. I think what's really hitting us is the finality. Everybody knows my opinion. It needed to happen, but just the finality of it. No emotions you cannot leave out because the person has been with us since his youth. The finality of it has really happened, and so Harry Kane is gone. And so tonight we will talk about how did we get to this point? How do we spend that Kane money? Right, that's the $1 million question. How do we remember Kane? And oh, yeah, we still excited about the upcoming season. But still, I know you've been on all day, but there was still a chance that Harry Kane says no and really screws us over. Kind of like a 2-year payback, but now that's not happening. The finality is he is gone. He is a Bayern player. He is. It's done. Your thoughts?
I'm not surprised. I've said it all day. I've said for weeks this is going to happen. I said he's going to go to Bayern Munich because he's fed up, and Tottenham Hotspur aren't going to let him go for zero. There's no way Kane was going to stay and just see out the end of his contract, waste another year of his career, risk getting injured, risk not, winning another trophy. He's running out of time. The guy's 30 years old. Time is not on his hands. He needs to use his time wisely, which means he has to go to a big club. Whether we like to admit it or not, Bayern Munich is a massive football club. Is it challenging like the Premier League? No. Will he be at Bayern for the next 4 years? Maybe, maybe not. But the fact he's out of Spurs, he can now start doing what he hasn't done at Tottenham, and that is to win team silverware. He will win the Bundesliga, fact. He'll probably win the German Cup, fact. So then he's got titles under his name. The Champions League, I think Bayern Munich are going to be one of the top 3 favourites now because they're a very, very good side. Look, they crashed out of the quarterfinals last year and they missed Lewandowski big time. Now they've got their Lewandowski, they've got Harry Kane. So,
exactly.
And they're not going to stop there by Munich. I heard today they might be trying to buy Moses Caicedo. They're going to keep buying. They've got a fantastic academy. Thomas Tuchel is a good manager. He's already won the Champions League. He's won trophies in the past.
Yeah.
Look, Mari, I'm not angry. I'm not upset because I don't give a shit about Tottenham the way we run anymore. I'm sick of it. We're not going to rebuild. We're not going to rebuild. At best, if we're lucky, we become a top 4 team again. That's as far as we will ever go because we're not like Arsenal and other teams. Arsenal finished second. They got back in top 4. Yeah, happy with top 4. But they go and spend money on Declan Rice. They go and get Raya, the goalie that we wanted. They go and get Timber. They're going to keep doing things. They look to take what they've built and take it to the next level. We build something and then we get comfortable. Okay, we've done enough now. Stop. And that's it. This is Tottenham. Whilst Daniel Levy's the chairman, whilst Enoch owned the football club, we are finished as a football club. Whatever history we had from the 50s, the 60s, the 80s, whatever history we've had, it's just being wiped out. It's just all being wiped out, man. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised he's gone. I knew this was going to happen. I said it for 2 months. This day was for 2 months. I said this was going to happen.
Before we go, Stefan, before I make the stream, I went of course on Twitter, and of course we on Tottenham TV, and it was Chris Collin. Everybody knows David Harris is like the biggest Harry Kane fan, and Chris Collin, like literally, people are heartbroken. It's really like people are.
But Murray, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Those people you mentioned are the problem. I don't want to be disrespectful here, but they are the problem.
I agree with you.
We've had 5 years to get Enoch and Levy out or to make their lives difficult to carry on the way they do. We've been protesting. We've been inside the stadium, outside the stadium. We've been going after this ownership. We get no support. We get no backing. We get laughed at by everyone. The Spurs Supporters Trust, they've done us no favors. Other YouTube and podcast channels, they've done us no favors. Protesting doesn't work. It's a waste of time. We get Chris Cowlin. He's blocked every Enoch and Levy outer. He's blocked us all, right?
Well, it's funny. He mentioned the United game coming up. He said it's going to be toxic atmosphere, and rightly so.
Well,
I was like,
get off your ass. Get off your ass, Chris Cowling. Get off your ass. Stop putting your YouTube channel ahead of the club that you supposedly support, and start supporting change. Because whilst Enoch and Levy are here, this is going to keep happening. The next player will be Son, and then Romero, and before you know it, we're going to be left with Dyer, Ben Davies, and Sessegnon. They're all going to be sharing the captaincy. I mean, they're talking about Dyer being captain next season. Eric Dyer captain.
Still, I've always wanted to ask Spurs fans about this. Still, if you had that period under Poch where you were close to winning things, when you finished second, if you hadn't built the stadium, still, do you think Enoch would have invested instead of having 500 days without buying a player?
No, I don't think they would have invested, because
not even for one, because that squad needed like maybe 2 or 3 top quality players.
No, Stefan, because top 4 is the target. The target has always been top 4. As long as they get top 4, the business it's a nice business. It makes sense. As soon as we drop out of top 4, we won't pay the money for Raya. We've got to get Solomon on a freebie. Things change.
It's honestly,
you've spent more than us, and you've been in Europe, and you missed Europe for 2 years. You haven't been in the Champions League for 5 or 6 years, and you spent more than us. We've been in the Champions League. Explain it to me. We're the club with the game-changing stadium that's got the richest, in the top 10 richest clubs in world football, with higher profits.
Still, I totally get that, but here's the difference. We have
No, I'm answering your question. Like, do I think we would have spent? No, I wouldn't. Enoch wouldn't have done it. They've never done it.
Yeah, but no,
we've only started spending money, like real money, since we went to the stadium. This stadium's allowed us to spend more.
Yeah, but in a little bit of like playing devil's advocate, if you look at net spend, Arsenal are number 1. I think number 2 are Man United, and you guys are 3rd. So it's not like they haven't spent any money. Still, they that's not a good argument that they don't spend.
No. You said to me. No, your question was before we built the stadium.
Oh, before, yeah, true. Yeah,
Yeah, before we built the no, we wouldn't. We don't forget that stadium. We borrowed 800 million.
yeah,
So so no club borrows money to spend on players. No one borrows money to buy players. No one does that. The only club that's ever done that was Leeds, and it almost bankrupted them, and then they got relegated for 15 years. And the Riesdale.
I mean, it's
You can't borrow, because when you borrow money for property, it's okay, because worst comes to worst, you sell the land, you get the money back. But when you borrow money to buy a player, if the player gets injured or he stops being a good player, you can't get that money back. So no one's going to lend you money to buy a player. It's not an asset that it's a high risk asset class. Whereas
no,
land property, it's
yeah, no,
you know
I totally get that. It's just now I'm also reading reports, which, I mean, if this is actually true and Spurs fans don't protest, I think it's. I'm reading that the 100 million that is going to be received for Kane has already been spent, and that Richarlison supposedly today got a pretty serious injury in training. So you're looking at starting that young kid that you signed from Argentina against Brentford. I mean, if that's not a case for Spurs fans to protest against the ownership, and the fact that the ownership allowed for this transfer to fester until 3 days before the start of the EPL window, which you can blame Kane a little bit here. Also, you can blame Bayern, but if Spurs were a big club, they would have sat down with Bayern and said, "We need to get this done immediately. We need to get this done in the first few weeks of June, or immediately after the actual transfer window opens." So to do this, it's just it's just this club, man. It's like, I'm honestly, as an Arsenal fan, even though I enjoy the chaos, I'm actually starting to feel sorry for you guys. I'm being honest, like a little bit, even though I love it, because you guys are the enemy. It's just drama after drama, shit show after shit show. It's like you're gonna sell Kane now, and Stell, I completely get what you mean by Levy now about the PR, because today I really think that whole bullshit about Kane being more likely to stay prior at the start of the day, when they were saying that the offer was accepted but Kane wasn't sure. I honestly
crazy.
think that was purposefully leaked by Levy, because Kane wanted some sort of financial arrangement with Spurs that he wasn't agreeing to. And so Levy leaked that so-called memo to the press in order to put pressure on Kane. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kane leaves without any sort of tribute, because it doesn't seem to me as a very, how should I call it, a friendly agreement or a friendly transfer. They've removed all of his pictures from the website. So I think it's inevitable, but it's I don't know. I find it kind of sad. Like, even the North London Derby now, I'm not looking forward to it as much. I'll be honest. Like, I think we're gonna
You're going to batter us.
yeah, yeah. I know we're gonna batter you, but it's not it. I want there to be a little bit of competition. I don't want it to be like back in the Invincibles era, where we literally just, it was like, it was
It's
a
going to be
joke.
like that. It's going to be like that for
The
a while.
Yeah, yeah. Without, and if you don't sign anybody, and if you have Richarlison as his replacement, it's gonna be bad, guys. It's gonna be really bad. Like, there's a chance that, I don't know, the wheels might fall off this season, and you know Leicester got relegated like last season. Nobody thought that could happen, but if shit hits the fan, and 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 Eric Dyer is captain, I mean, that could happen. That could happen.
This Lukaku, if this rumors are true, oh my goodness, I don't
Well,
even.
Mark, he's still better than Richarlison, so he's still
Um,
better than him.
yeah, 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 I guess. But uh, we got Hodge. Big up.
Hey,
This is
hey,
the
big up, man. You, Murray.
first time
Big up,
having
Steph.
you on stream.
So, man,
What's up, H?
Uh, how you feeling, man?
Oh, don't. Off. I messaged Stella and I said, I feel sick to the pit of my stomach. It's, do you know what? Like, I ain't felt like this, I think, probably since, Hoddle and obviously then Bale at a later time. But Bale wasn't even as bad as this. Like, so, yeah, like, it ain't good. It ain't good. I had an argument with Steph earlier on Steph and Steve, like, on WhatsApp, like, but I sort of calmed down. I thought, let me just calm down because I was just going absolutely ape about it. Like, but do you know what? It is what it is. You just got to move on now. Like, I hate to say it. I don't want it to happen. I still think that there might be that little chance he says, nah, I don't want to go. But even then, I just think that's just, yeah, I'll be living in cuckoo land. Like, do you know what I mean? So,
They've removed his. They've removed his.
He's gone. He's gone, mate.
yeah, I
It's
know.
like,
I know. There's like all from all the kit sponsors
Yeah.
and everything.
So
Like,
he's
yeah,
gone.
like
He's gone.
he's gone. Yeah. No, apparently he's flying to Germany tonight to go and get for.
the
So he's there
medical.
for the morning, do his medical and stuff, and then basically just announce it. Do you know what? Do you know what the sickening thing about it is? It's the timing. 2 days before our first
Yeah.
game of the season, we go and get rid of our top goal scorer. That
Absolute
that is just
disgrace.
typical. Typical. I'm actually doing a long uh tweet. Don't know what to call them anymore. X's or tweets. But I'm on page 3 at the moment, so look out for it tomorrow. If anyone's on Twitter, like
No, but
it's sickening.
it could
Like
be
I just feel.
worse.
I feel.
It could be
I,
worse. Like
did,
it
you
could
know,
be
I don't even
like
know what
I
to say. Like,
remember.
yeah, I was actually watching Cowlin's podcast. I thought everyone else is dead, like everyone else is sleeping. I've watched every single one, obviously not all live, and I was just listening to it, and not Cowlin so much. It's the other guys. They just felt like death warmed up, man. I thought myself, holy shit, this is bad. Sorry.
Where were they at the protest, H? Where were they at the
I know.
protest, man?
Felt like put it this
Where
way.
were
I didn't
they?
even bother.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I 100%. Like I did. It's. But
But
no matter what happens, we're all fans.
still, you need to, in order to get them to protest. Still, my only piece of advice to you is when you say that, you kind of discourage people that are in the middle. I get that you have to be
I
hostile.
don't care about
but
the middle
maybe you
ground. They're
might.
so politically charged, Stefan. They're politically. Listen, they need to hear it. The
They
more I
come.
say it to them, you are the problem. The middle ground. You are the problem. You, yes, you. And you know what? If that puts you off, then it proves you're the problem. Come along, man. I don't do all this
Okay.
politics. We're not. This isn't political. We're a football club. We're not a political party. Or the messaging's wrong. Or don't use those colours. Shut up. Have a backbone and do something about it. I'm old
Do you know
school,
what the thing
man.
is
I'm
though?
old
Like
school.
no. Do you know what? Look. So I think I'm actually older than you as well. I'm
You're
the
more old school.
granddad here. Yeah. Like, but what I'm saying is like I I basically had a tragedy in my life. I don't want to go into any details or anything. You know about this anyway, still.
Yeah.
Like, so basically, since that's happened, my mindset has just completely changed. I would have been gung ho like how you are still now. Like, I would have been ready to go down and try and break into the place, like, and do someone damage. That's the type of mentality I used to have. Like, and it's not worth it. It ain't worth it whatsoever. The only way we can all come together protest against this because I actually honestly think people are going down towards this path. Like it's now Kane's gone. If we have like 2-3 games where we lose, yeah, like you're going to start seeing heads
It's gonna
turn.
be super toxic. It's
It
gonna
is.
be
It's going
bad.
to be toxic as well. Like, and as I
But
said, like
I think the thing is because, like I said, I'm looking at live and like
No,
and
but
use Chris Collins as an example. He never streams as late. Depressed. Everybody's depressed. People's hearts have been broken. I think the only thing worse than this is being regulated. And so now, like Stell says, now put your money where your mouth is. When you show up, I know it's about the tickets on the Manchester United, but even then, still come out the Manchester United game and show
Yeah, 100%.
your displeasure. Show them
yeah.
your displeasure. Tell them like this is you hate how because the next question that I have and I'll say this and I said this earlier on Stealth streams earlier because I saw the streams other streams earlier and it was like how did we get to this point, right? How did we get to this point where Harry Kane wants to leave? And I said this, right? And Stell has backed me up on this. It's just that Harry Kane, right? If we can see this, Harry Kane is in the middle of the fire. He sees the incompetency of this club. He has seen that we've had less opportunities as a supposedly Big Six club to win trophies, right? Right? I know Stefan, you were like, well, he's had those chances, right? I did research, right? Honestly, semifinal here, semifinal there, a final, and
He played in three finals.
and then
Three
two
finals, Mark.
but here's my point. Here's my point. And what I said earlier, Stell's show. If you look at the top six clubs, right, the big six, the last 15 years, who's had less opportunities to win? And I use the analogy like you go to a bar, right? And I tell you, you had 10 chances to go home with a girl and score, right? But the other guy has 3 chances, right?
He just crashed mid
Amari,
run.
are you still there?
I'll tell you what he's going to say. He's going to say, when you go to a nightclub,
Amari, like Travis
Amari.
Scott have got hold of your network.
basically, what he's saying is, listen, what Murray's saying is, if you look at the top 6 clubs, Tottenham get to the least amount of finals. So if you play for Tottenham, you will always have the least amount of chances to win trophies. You might win some, you might lose some, you might lose them all. It doesn't matter. The point is, if you play for certain clubs, Liverpool, City, Chelsea, you're going to be at finals on a regular basis. So your chance of winning silverware will always be higher. By playing for Spurs, you are automatically limited. You're just up against it regardless. Doesn't mean you can't, but you're up against it more than other clubs. Even Arsenal, they were worse than us, got to more finals. Just put that into perspective.
I know, but wait. Aubameyang, for all his faults, when it came down to it, in the semi-final and final, he won those games by himself.
Against a 10-man Chelsea, yeah.
Against the 10-man, really still against the 10-man Chelsea.
Did Chelsea have a man sent off?
He had scored 2 goals before the actual red card.
It doesn't matter when he scored them. You played against 10 men.
It doesn't matter when he scored them. What kind of an argument is that?
Because the game's 90 minutes. You're talking about the first 60.
He scored them. He scored them when they were.
Was your manager sacked before the final?
Okay, I'm not saying he was sacked before the final.
No, but I'm asking you. I'm asking you a question. Was your manager sacked before the final?
That was one League Cup final.
Ours
was one League Cup final.
Yeah.
Ours was.
Yes, Stefan, of a limited chances. Like I did the research. Another thing, because I say it's 80% Levy, 20% Kane, right? Continuity is big. Out of the big six, top 6 clubs, when it comes to continuity, when it comes to hirings and firings, Spurs had the most. When you have continuity, your team is better the chance to succeed, to be able to put themselves in opportunities to be able to win. So I say yes, I agree with you that Kane could have shown up, but he's had a limited number of chances to show up, whereas other teams and other players have had a plethora, a more chance of being able to, and so that's what I'm saying. So this is how we got to a point with Harry Kane in the sense of he's smart enough to know, man, I don't get these chances to win trophies as much at Tottenham. Yes, I had my chances.
Do
and
you know what? Like,
if-
I agree. I
but by
agree. He gets less chances. He did have the chances. Sorry, I don't know whether it's the delay between Amari and our side, or is it me who's
No,
No,
got
I can hear you.
a delay?
We can hear
you're
you fine.
fine.
Big
You're
up, Mr.
fine.
K. Mr. K, man. Come on. Mr. K.
Yeah, no.
Hamish, we can hear you.
Do you know what, Amari? What, like, I know he's had less chances.
Go on,
Sorry
H.
if I jumped in.
No, finish.
Yeah,
H.
so I know he's had less chances, but if you look, two of those finals, the guy came back after about 3 months for the Champions League final. He was out for 3 months, and then the other final, which I believe was the Carling Cup final against Man United,
Yeah,
he was
0-0.
out, and then he just came back from injury. Now, although I understand he played, but I still think that was the manager's fault. But I actually blamed Pochettino at the time. He should never have played him. He should have started with Mora and kept Kane on the bench. Yeah, the guy didn't even have a training session for the Champions League final.
But
So, like,
Paige, can I tell you something about this, right? Because
yeah,
I've got friends in the club. I want to tell you exactly what happened. I know exactly what happened in this final. Harry Kane, the club above, demanded he play, and Harry Kane also agreed to it on the basis that, as a marketing event for the best player at Spurs to not be in that
yeah,
was a disaster for them. From not a disaster, but it was a PR. It's a missed opportunity. However,
It was
where I
a
agree
stunt,
with you,
wasn't it? It was a stunt.
it was a stunt. But where I agree with you, H, now, where I agree with you is, if that was Conte, elite, he would have said, "Fuck you, Levy.
yeah,
I'm the boss.
yeah,
I'm the boss."
100%, 100%.
and that's
Poch,
why
he didn't have that strength in that moment.
and that's why Poch is gonna fail at Chelsea. I've always said. I've told you
Nah, I
guys
think Poch.
No, yeah, do you know what? I think he's gonna smash it. Do you know
he's
what?
not
Like,
gonna
when if
do
you
anything.
He's going to get backed.
that
Poch is going to
guy.
get backed.
That guy is getting backed. Like, I'm telling you, like, I can see shades of Mourinho, right, in the way
Oh
the
my
Chelsea
God.
Chelsea are in the actual market now. They're buying up everyone. They're
Who
stopping
are they
other clubs
buying?
from,
Who are they
like,
buying?
The point
what?
is, we've got no striker for the weekend of the Premier League season. We've got no European football, yeah?
No,
Why have we not got a striker? This could have been done over a month ago, this deal. We've
yeah,
got no striker for this weekend. We've got no midweek games. It's a disaster, and it starts from the top.
100%. Like, look,
guys,
we can say that as much as we want all day. We can scream from like the top of
No,
the
but
like
it's reality, though. It
from
should
the
have been
top of the
done a
roof.
month
I
ago.
know it's 100%, but the problem is, until everyone doesn't unite and until everyone doesn't make a noise. Now, do you know what I was actually thinking about this year regarding, like, obviously, like the protests and stuff? I've got a different angle in the way I see things. Like, I don't know whether it's from my previous work or whatever. Yeah. Now, I've always believed that, like, the more aggression you show, yeah, towards a demonstration or a protest or anything, it always gets bad publicity. Bad publicity literally moves around, and all the people that don't want you to succeed with that protest will shut you down and will make you look like idiots. And that is what, like, I believe, like, what they're trying to do with you guys. They're trying to literally shut you down from every angle. You guys now have got the angle of the Tottenham Hotspurs Trust, which carries about 6,000 people anyway. I'm not saying 6,000 people are going to turn up for the protest, but what I am saying is that you guys need to now. Do you know what the best way to deal with this is? Play their ball, play their game. That is the only way we will succeed. Unity. Unity is the only way. I know no one wants to hear it. Yeah, I know everyone wants to go down and scream out, Levy out, whatever. But the thing is, it's not going to happen unless what you do is you get everyone within the trust to turn around and say, you don't have to go out, or you can protest outside, but then go into the game, yeah, go into the stadium, but leave 15 minutes early. If you get like 10,000 people, start leaving 15 minutes early, showing the club is starting to empty like 15, 20 minutes early, or 15 minutes going late.
That's never gonna happen. That's never gonna happen.
Do you know what? That's the only way it can happen, because if if you're going to turn around and just say that you're going to protest from outside the club shop, people are just going to look at you. You're going to be like a something in a museum or a zoo. They're just going to turn up. They're going to take pictures of
H,
you guys and just
H,
carry on.
I messaged the trust before I come on here, and I've said to them, the protest before Man United is now Levy out. And they're like, no, don't do that. I'm like, no, it's happening.
This is what I'm saying. It's
Who's
working
going
with
to turn up now?
emotion. Sometimes
But who's going to turn up now? Yeah, ticket prices after this. No one gives a damn about ticket prices now. Now everyone's worried about the future of the football team. Full stop.
I know, agreed. But let's see. Let's see what happens. Look, I'll be honest with you. You know, I can't come. I'm paralyzed. I'm in bed. Like even now, I'm basically on a hospital bed at home. Yeah, so
No,
I can't travel. But
the
I
problem
literally
is,
try and chuck it out via Twitter. I repost and everything. So, but yeah, as I said, like for me, the only way it can work is if you work. Everyone unites, because until you don't unite, they will literally shut you. Donna Cullen, like, has been in that role for so long, because everyone thinks that she's Levy's bitch, but she isn't. Levy's her bitch. She runs things. Like the old man, literally, he's left his pit bull with Levy. She keeps an eye on everything.
no,
Like from what they turn around and say, like everything, the media silence, everything, it comes from her.
I think the biggest problem you guys have, and I've noticed it. I watched the Overlap, I think it was called, on Sky Sports, where they had all the different sports fans and podcasters and stuff from the different teams, and they had Flav from the Spurs, from his most, I think he's got the most
Yeah,
popular Spurs
The
podcast,
fighting cock.
the Fighting
yeah.
Cock, yeah. And I decided to listen. So after listening to him, I decided to just listen to one of his podcasts just to see, because sometimes I think Stell is, he's very adamant about his position. So I always try and see what, the middle ground, like just if there's a more. And I listened to his podcast,
There's no middle
and they
ground.
were,
It's a deluded ground,
yeah,
Stefan.
yeah,
It's
wait,
deluded.
just wait. Let me just, and I listened to his podcast, and
I hate
him
this
and
middle ground.
his co-hosts, or whatever they were defending Levy. They were praising him for turning down the
Idiots.
Kane bid. They were saying that they were going to finish third or fourth. Like
Idiots.
some of this
Idiots.
delusion, like they are, and I'm starting to completely get what Stellis. They are the problem, because that type of delusion, where
Thank
you
you, man.
think that Arsenal, for example, that some of Arsenal's, like, they were talking about how Arsenal, like for example, Declan Rice is overrated, and like just this type of kind of making yourself feel good about your club for the sake of it, and then saying how Levy, oh, but we were crap in the '90s and we were poorly run, and now we're well run. Like it was a joke. Like I was actually shocked that they had come to this conclusion, and they're the most listened podcast for most Spurs fans. So that should tell you how a lot of people actually think about Levy in general, and that's your biggest problem. Your biggest problem is trying to convince these type of fans, the ones that say, "I just want to go for the football experience," or as Flav said, "Listen, whatever happens, happens. I just want entertaining football." Great, okay. So you just want entertaining football and to win nothing again, and that this is for me the biggest issue that you guys have at this club. The culture at the club is simply to be entertained rather than to actually, why not be entertained and win things? And and them saying that, oh, you know what, Mourinho and Conte, they didn't get things, but fucking Ange Postecoglou, I like him, don't get me wrong, but he's no Mourinho, nor is he Conte. Gets it more, and is gonna get more out of these players like Dyer and Davis, is a complete joke to me. So they're the problem still. I'm starting to.
I mean, I said to myself yesterday, because I've heard so many people, and mind you, yes, the football was dread with Conte and with Mourinho, with Conte, but and I'll say it again, we didn't back Conte. We didn't back him to the point of having a team like Inter, like Inter Milan, of a type of football. because for me, and what I don't understand about this fan base is maybe because we have not tasted glory for a long, long time, and so we just settle for anything, right? People constantly say, "Oh man, now we're playing sexy football." I'm like, I don't want. I
That
could,
definitely was not sexy
I
football.
could
That
care,
was the most
I,
dire football I've ever seen in my life.
yeah,
That
I
was
could
not
care
sexy
less.
football at all.
Yeah, yeah. Let me finish my point. I could care less about sexy football. All right, I leave sexy for the bedroom. Right, for me and my girlfriend, I leave it in the bedroom. I want winning football. I want to win shit. I want to win. I've only seen one trophy. Right, I don't. I have not. I don't count Aldi Cup. I don't count the Tiger Cup. Right, I've only seen the Carling Cup. That's the only thing I've ever seen as a Spurs fan. It's the Carling Cup, formerly the Carling Cup. So for me, yes, I I like what I've seen in preseason whatsoever, but the eventual goal, I want to win. I want to win. I want winning football. I want a winning formula. I want a winning plan. I want a winning direction. Someone posted about continuity. We have the same players for the same 7 years. I'm not talking about that continuity. I'm talking about firing sporting directors like Paul Mitchell,
Exactly.
having firing people left and right on your board, your scouting team. Everything is it's almost on the football sense, it's like a lack of there's a term called lack of institutional control. It's a football, it's a
No,
football chaos. It really is a
no,
football
Mar,
chaos.
Mar,
How
it's
we are
it's
run.
no,
It,
it's
it no,
simple.
but God said for us to even qualify for top four for Champions League is actually remarkable because of the incompetence. I'm telling you, I did the research. And I'm looking at all the fights. I'm looking at Arsenal, even though they went from Wenger
Emery,
To
Emery.
Arteta, right? They haven't had to make changes within the club.
Oh no, no, we did. Mar, you're wrong. We made
And
huge
no, no, no,
changes.
no. But no. But in comparison to Tottenham, it's not even close. I did the research. I'm telling you, I'm gonna do a show about this. I'm gonna do a show about how our club sorely lack on continuity, which also affects the club as a whole in regards to producing opportunities to win trophies. It's like it's no different than any company. It's no different.
You
It's
have
no different.
no
Tottenham is
it
the worst out of the top six. You cannot find any excuse. I'm telling you, I can give you the facts. I can give you
no
the facts.
Mar, it's simple. You have no winning culture. That's you have no winning is not
Yeah,
the most.
but to start a winning culture, you have to have a winning structure. You have to have a plan.
It
You have
comes
to
from
have a structure.
it
You
comes from
just
your
don't win
chairman.
like that.
It comes from
You just don't win like that. You have to have a plan. Aston Villa, right now they have a plan. I don't know that's going to produce trophies for them, but they have a plan. They have a structure. They have a philosophy. They have an ethos. Brighton has the same thing. Newcastle, right? When we talk about them, right? They have a 10-year plan that they want to win the Premier League. They have a plan. They have a structure. They actually know what they.
Amari, sorry, can I just jump? A plan? Yes, I agree. Every club needs a plan, but where it lies, like where what you gotta have most of all is desire. Yeah,
Yes,
no
yes.
our
vision,
ownership
a vision.
haven't got the desire to win. Our basically our fans don't have the desire to win. Yeah. Another thing, yeah, like so it's our fans, our ownership, yeah, the only and like the players that we've got in the club at the moment, this leadership group, it has to be gone. Dyer, Davis, right? I don't care. Skip can go as well. Like he's meant to be the new junior member of the leadership group. Kane's going. So that's it. Those four, you have to
Sanchez.
break that. There should not be no leadership groups. You've got to have the old school way, the captain and the manager. Yeah, they're the two
Guys,
people that, yeah, sorry.
guys. Listen, I'm hearing a lot of passion, and I'm grateful to be in the stream with amazing panel that's here, with the amazing fans that are watching us live. But my background, I've done a few things in terms of different types of sports, which includes like a ring. And they have a saying in boxing: you can have all the plans you want, but the plan goes out the window when you get smacked in the face. And that's the problem with our team. It has been for 20 plus odd years, and they've even created a special name for it, which is called Spursy, right? Even Jose and Conte, they both said the same thing. They said, we didn't tell our players to back off. Why did they back off? The last game that we played where we actually won something, right, before the Barcelona game, in the first half, Ange was jumping up and down saying, listen, why are you going back? Why are you going back? Why are you not killing them? That mentality called a backbone, right, is something that Ange needs to replace with something called a system. And he said it straight. He goes, my system will come into play whether players like it or not. Those who are going to be with it, going to be with it. Those who are not, going to be out. So he's very different from the previous managers, which had to mold something out of a team of players. He's not molding something out of a team of players. He's molding a system, and whichever player fits in that system gets to play. Everywhere, every club you look at that Ange has gone to, in the first season, there's been a high turnover of players, established players, star players, high turnover. In the first 3 months of every single season he's ever had, there's been a whole lot of pain. So we will go through pain. But I tell you what, I believe in the system of Ange because this manager can work with this particular board. Now, the point here was, how do we get here? And we're all going to throw around, our kittens out there to find out who's to blame. And to tell you the truth, the reason why I've been out of the streams for so long, apart from one medical right, yeah, but the other reason is I've got access to the same information that everyone else has got. If they can be bothered to look at it, then they will know what I know. But they're not bothered. That means that everyone has a bias and a sort of, like, you might call it an agenda as to what they're getting out of what they're viewing in terms of Tottenham. Okay? So you can't convince people, you can't convince them if their heart is never going to listen to the facts no matter how many times you throw it at them. All you can do is do what you can do. Do your bit and keep doing your bit. Whether that's forwarding Twitters, whether that's forwarding streams, or whether it's protesting physically, do what you can, but don't lie there and not have a backbone. That's the number one problem with our club, with our team. It has been no backbone.
Mr. K, you say you trust in Ange and the system because he can work with this board. No manager can work with this board. It's impossible.
Well, Poch managed to work with the system to a certain degree, and he managed to get us to second, and he managed to get us to a final.
Poch had two things in his favour. Well, three things.
Mitchell.
Number one, yeah, Mitchell, a fantastic scout. We don't have a football director at the moment. We don't know who's scouting.
Yeah.
Number two, he had the best striker in the league, Harry Kane, who's now gone.
Yeah.
And number three, Pochettino caught a bit of life because he performed miracles at a time where Arsenal were in the mud, Man United were in the mud, Liverpool were in transition.
Everybody
now,
was in the mud.
Man City's a juggernaut. Arsenal are back. Man United are back.
Yeah.
Liverpool, they're still wobbling. Chelsea are climbing. Aston Villa and Brighton and Newcastle are now in the mix. This is the hardest time ever to do what we're doing, and that's to bring a manager who plays pretty football. It's crazy.
So let me answer that.
And get rid of the player and keep Dyer and Ben Davies and Sessegnon and Sanchez.
Let me address those concerns straight away for you. Number one, right? Yeah. If you look at managers, for example, if you move out the big juggernauts like Conte and Ancelotti and Jose Mourinho and so forth, Jurgen Klopp. If you look at, for example, new managers that come in out of nowhere, like for example Potter. See, these type of managers that come out somewhere, they've done some success somewhere. No, listen to me.
It starts from the board upstairs. That's where it starts from.
Listen to my argument and then come back at me. I said they start somewhere where they have some sort of success. And it could be like a third division. It could be like a fifth division. It doesn't matter. They have some philosophy that they put in, and somehow it works. It gets a bit of excitement. Okay, they actually beat the Gunners. That's why he was famous. All right. My point is this, right? Yeah, but when they come to the Premier League, right? Yeah, they have that sort of kudos. Now, Ange is coming to the Premier League, right? Yeah, but unlike those managers, everywhere he's gone, he's had the same system.
Mate, I respect your opinion. I'm sorry to find it, but you're talking absolute nonsense, honestly. It starts from the top to the bottom. Our club
Yep.
is run profit before glory. It starts
Yeah,
from
got
up
that.
here. If you're up here and you've got the money, that's where you can hire the best managers, right or wrong, and you can buy the best
No.
players.
It's not. It's
It's
not.
not. I'm
Only
saying
that.
it's not always about best managers. I'm saying it's
No,
not
it
always
is.
about the
That's
best
where
manager.
it starts from up here. That's where it is. It's our
Yeah, but-
owners don't care about our club. That's the problem.
Okay, what was that
I
Pizza
feel,
guy?
I
What
feel,
was that
I feel
Pizza guy?
sorry.
When it's Leicester?
I feel
What was
sorry
that
for
Leicester?
Ange. I don't think he signed up for this. I don't think Ange signed up.
Yeah,
for
Yeah, I
this.
agree.
Can we
I
get
don't
I
think he
feel
signed
Yeah.
up.
sorry for him. I feel sorry for him. We just
And
signed Maddison. We got an Ericsson replacement to put the ball in on Kane's head, and now he's gone.
Exactly.
And now,
Now we've got no striker. Who's
now
going
he's
to whip the ball in?
now he's
Son
gonna
can't
fit-
header a
he's-
ball.
gonna
Richarlison's
feed-
half. Richarlison can't be trusted. He's half injured or always offside. Like, who can you trust?
or he's shit.
Richarlison
Or he's shit.
is
Yeah, exactly.
So,
this is Scott's opinion, and then Alan.
Do you know what I'd do if I was Ange? I'd put Scarlett up front on Sunday. That's what I would do.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but
That's
yeah,
all
but
we-
yeah, but
that's all
yeah,
we
but
have
yeah,
at the
but
moment.
yeah, but yeah,
Put him
but
up
yeah, but
front.
this
Throw
yeah,
him
but
in
you
the
see,
deep end.
you see, with Dane Scarlett, he's 19. He's one of our own. He scored a really good goal the other day.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Okay, so there's no evidence to suggest he
Against
can
Brentford,
go and do
guys?
the. Hear me out. There's no evidence. Someone's got noise in the background. There's no evidence to suggest that Scarlett can now come onto the scene and blow it up. There's none at all. We haven't seen enough. We've seen little moments. My
We have no
concern,
striker though, do we?
no, hear me out. My concern is I've got no issue with Scarlett becoming the striker going forward and give it a go. I've got no issue with that, right? I'd have him over Richarlison. I actually would. But then why go and spend £12 million on another 19-year-old from Argentina? You've now put an obstacle in front of Scarlett. Like, I don't
There is no
understand what we've
plan.
done. And-
But
There is
still,
no plan.
still,
and our
we
fans-
loaned
our fans are
we
saying
loaned
he's a
Kane out
wonder
at
kid.
19 years
He's
of
a
age as
wonder
well.
kid. How's he a
We
wonder
loaned
kid?
Kane out at that age to Leicester
Kane
and Leighton
is,
Orient.
Kane is an exception, right? You can't say Kane worked. So this guy, like Scarlett, was overwhelmed at League One last year. We can't bring him in.
Yeah,
That's how
Scarlett,
Kane
like,
started.
I read-
Though. Kane was loaned out at that age as well.
I get
19
it.
20.
I get it. But why have we signed this Argentinian 19-year-old then? What was the point of this?
And do
Wait.
you know what? Even if you you hear the people
Still,
from
is that
Argentina,
Argentina? Is he a defender or a striker? I don't really know much about him.
He's a striker.
He's a.
Oh, he's a
He's a
striker.
striker. Do you know what?
I thought he was a defender.
No, I left
No,
him
but-
Liz. He's just
well, Liz-
no.
Liz-
We signed an 18-year-old defender called Ashley Phillips as well.
No,
Estelle, that
is that
Argentinian
Feliz
striker,
or Feliz or
he had a
what
couple
his
of
name is
people
from
from
Rosario?
Argentina, that have turned around and said that they are actually really surprised that Spurs
Yeah.
signed him because he's
That's
not that good.
Yeah, he's
So,
like.
I ain't got a Scooby on what.
You know what? I'm
You're
changing
surprised
my
that
dream.
Spurs
I've got
signed
to
a
take
player
Kane
that's
out my dream team now. Put Scarlett in.
No, I'm not. I ain't surprised. I'm just laughing about it. Like,
Yeah, but guys,
I
guys,
think now Hyun-Min Son has to be the striker for the club. That's the only option
No,
that's
wait,
realistic.
no,
Son,
look,
he
you
has
know
to-
what?
He can't be. He can't play that. He can't do that. He
Yeah,
can't.
but who can?
He just-
Who can?
we haven't got no one else. That's the problem.
That's why I'm saying it. At least he can.
Hugo
score.
Lloris.
you're also. Guys,
You know what? Like,
wait,
like
let me
Mr.
just.
K, like, do you know what? Like,
Let me make one point. Let me make one point before you continue. Just one point. Just one point.
Yeah,
look,
do Dele Alli right now, couldn't we?
yeah, when we had Kane, right, yeah, the players, right, yeah, with that backbone could hide behind his performances. Now we don't have Kane on the pitch. There's no way for them to hide.
Yeah.
So he's not big enough for them
Now
to hide
you're-
behind.
Yeah, but I
Now
believe
you're
we've
full.
got enough
This is
up front. We've got enough up front counter attack and a lot of attacking players to get us over the line against Brentford. I
Guys,
can see we have that
Great.
in our arsenal.
wait,
you know?
wait. Let me just.
We have that. We
let
have
me just
enough.
say one
We
thing
have enough
about-
to beat them like 2-1 or 1-0 on Sunday without Kane. No club
against Brentford.
no striker. We have a lot of attacking players to get ourselves over the line.
Wait,
if we can.
guys.
I
You're
think we're
also
going to get
missing-
hammered. We're going to
yeah,
get
wait.
caught on the counter attack.
It'd be like Arsenal
gonna
2 years ago when they got beat 3-0
off.
against Brentford on the opening day. Do you remember that?
The
Listen,
guys,
listen,
the only
listen,
team,
we're delusional before the game starts. Okay, we love it. Every time the season starts, we always think we can do something. That's Spurs fan base. I'm like that. I believe it. Every game I go into, I think we're going to win 4-1.
Fuck it.
I think we're going to beat Brentford 4-1.
You're turning the
Guys,
positive into
just-
a negative ASAP.
Anything's possible, right? Anything's possible, but it's hard for us to be.
Come on,
more
guys, let's have
confident.
some hope. Like, Kane's gone. Kane should have been gone a month ago. It's going to happen. We all knew it was going to happen.
Guys,
we now need to look
breaking
forward.
news.
We ain't going to have a
Wait,
striker
wait,
this
wait.
weekend, but we might have
Breaking
one
news.
in place for Man United. We need to have a striker in place for Man United at home, 100%. If we ain't got a striker, forget about it. We got 38 games next year. No
Son,
Champions League, no European
Some will be the
football.
striker. Some will be the
I
striker.
personally
Every
think
Premier
I
League
don't
game.
even think.
Remember, 5th place next year is a Champions League spot. We need to make the most of all of these games next year. This season is priority.
Actually, it goes by whoever has the highest coefficient. And at the moment, if Liverpool don't get top 4, they will get the next European Champions
Well,
League.
they
place,
will.
not Tottenham.
But if we're performing and we're let's say we're in the bracket between 6th and 8th at the moment, if we can reach that level and consistently stay there, then that's another
How?
60 million
No,
pounds
We
we'll
ain't
lose
got
out
a-
on.
we ain't got a-
We're in position for 8th, 7th or 8th.
we don't have a
Liverpool-
good striker at the club if Kane leaves, and we are one injury away from having a defensive crisis. We're already in a mini crisis. If Romero or Van der Ven gets injured,
Let's
we're in a
hope Kane
full-blown
gets a
crisis.
thigh strain.
And this goalkeeper, I'm sorry, this Vicario,
He's dodgy.
I haven't seen anything yet to say this is a really sound signing either. And
Yeah,
the
but look what
wing-backs,
Arsenal doing. They
none
just
of
signed
them
David
took the
Raya. That tells me
Guys,
that they can't trust Ramsdale in the final third of the season. They've
No,
just
they
signed
create-
a goalkeeper that we was after.
They're creating competition in their club, healthy
No, that
competition.
we're
They
creating.
are, they
but
are,
guys,
they
breaking
are.
news. Wait. Before somebody
They're
says
signing a goalkeeper
Liverpool,
that's a proven goalkeeper that plays in week in, week out, and he's happy to sit on the bench. Like that's levels.
Yeah,
wait,
because he knows he might win the league. He's got a chance to
Exactly.
win the league.
no,
right?
Exactly.
no,
And I actually, I'll be honest with you, I really think they've strengthened so good. Like it all started well for us. We signed Maddison, then they started like buying Havertz and then Declan Rice and stuff.
Last year
But
started
we
when
could
we
not
signed
compare
Basuma.
ourselves to them.
It always goes downhill. This is what we do. Sign early, a couple of juicy ones to get those season ticket renewals and the Hotspur membership signed up. Then once they've got the money in, right, now hit him with the Solomon and Ashley Phillips.
It took
sell
us 7
Harry
weeks
Kane.
to sign Van der Ven. Bloody hell.
International Observer, if you could
7
jump on,
weeks. That's a whole pre-season.
I would love.
We've
I
only
would
played
love
4
breaking
games.
news, guys. Wait. Liverpool have had a bid accepted for Caicedo. He's going to Liverpool. They've
What a
hijacked
signing.
Chelsea.
Oh
What
God!
a signing.
And if
What
me
a
up
signing.
back to
I
Liverpool,
bet it's more than Harry Kane, isn't it?
yeah.
I'm actually
How much is it?
gutted. I'm actually
Hold
gutted.
on, hold on. International Observer, I put the link on the
See,
on the.
that's my point. If you want to go buy someone, you spend the money, go and get him and pay the money. We're here waiting for Bayern Munich to come and buy our striker, and we ain't got no one.
Hey, hold on, International Observer. If you want to jump on the stream, I would love for you to explain your point. I don't know if you're trolling us or you're really serious about your point.
Kane caused this and not Enoch. I mean,
Guys.
this is the problem. This is the problem. This is why the club's in a mess because of international observers.
And
there's about
Scale.
60,000. There's 60,000 of these international observers that go to the stadium and defend leaving Enoch.
No. There's not 60,000 of these people that go to the stadium. Do you know what it is? Yeah, the club has invested in people to actually jump on our streams and like literally, basically try and troll. That's what they do. That's what the club has done. Like that's why like
What's
there's
trolling got to do
division
with it?
between all Tottenham fans.
We're in the mud.
I just, guys, I just,
Again.
because a lot of people were talking, I just wanted to point out for the Velis, if you do your homework on Velis, guess who shares the same agents as Velis?
I hope it ain't Mino Raiola because he's gone.
Romero, no.
Ben Dyer.
He was the worst
Romero.
agent to deal with as well,
Ben
wasn't
Dyer. I've said it again. That's twice today. Ben Dyer.
he? Eric Dyer.
No,
I've done that twice today.
if you,
Most bang average player
I hope
ever.
Charlie Kane becomes Dyer's agent. He'd get him a nice
let
big
me
club,
just
wouldn't
finish.
he?
If
Future
you guys
club
do your
captain.
homework on him, he shares the
You know,
same agents
Scott
as-
M's come
as
on
Romero.
like, and he ain't said a word yet. Like, sorry,
It wouldn't
mate.
surprise me on Sunday. Dyer's named as captain. It would have not surprised
I'm
me.
good. Don't worry.
He's going to be captain.
It would
Come on,
surprise me.
Scott, come on. I know you'll have plenty to say. Come on, mate.
It would surprise me, honestly.
We had Super Yan, now we have Super Dyer.
Oh, good. Let Mr. K. I think Mr. K wanted.
They're
to
not
take off
challenged.
first.
Dyer's
They're not
that sort of
Yeah.
signing. He's got a 10-year
Guys.
contract after he retires. to translate to the new
Right.
players. He's one of them people.
Brilliant. Guys, I'm sorry I got to leave the stream. It's a little very late for me right now. It's 1:30 in the morning. I've got to wake up at 6 o'clock.
Yeah,
Or
do you know what?
5:30.
Me too. Fair play.
But
I'm off as well.
so
I've got
yeah.
I've
So
got
before I go, I just wanted to say, listen, great panel. Thank you very much for your views. I don't know everything, and I'm not always right. So it's good to get pushback on anything that I say. So I listen to that, and I've learned from that as much as possible. So appreciate the panel. Lots of knowledge here, and also the people out there that are watching. Please smash a like. Wonderful, wonderful channel. And obviously, keep your comments coming in. It's absolutely valuable that everyone keeps communicating. That's the most important thing. Whether it's crap views or good views or banter views or troll views, you know what? It's all good as far as I'm concerned, right? But
God bless
as
you,
far as
mate.
this
Take care.
situation, before I say good night, I just want to say goodbye, Kane.
And Levy
Goodbye,
out.
Kane. Yeah, goodbye, Kane. Get lost, Levy. Get lost, Levy.
That's the one.
Come on, you Spurs. In Ange, I trust. All right, listen, God bless all of you. I hope you have a wonderful
Take
evening.
care, mate.
And,
Take care,
and all
mate.
the best, okay?
You got
And
Mr. K.
you know what? I can't believe I'm leaving because Scotty's here. I haven't been in the stream with Scotty for like 2 years, mate. But listen, all the best. Next time, if I can come on later on, if I don't go to sleep, I will make my way back, okay? Okay, ciao, everyone. Bye.
All right.
On that note, I'm going to follow suit because I have to be up early as well. Stel, thank you for letting me on, mate. Appreciate
It was
it.
Maury. Maury did it. Maury.
Oh, Maury, sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me on, all right?
You're welcome, man.
Oh, you're welcome.
Levy out. Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah.
Leave it out. Leave it out.
Man.
Leave you out.
We get to
Stay
the next,
in.
which will be also heated. I already talked about Harry Kane's gone, how we got to this point. But now here's the $1 million question. Have we been already spending that Kane money? And if we haven't, how do we spend that Kane money?
That Kane money's already been spent.
We spend it on Semtex and we blow it up. We blow the whole thing up, man.
We're making a new skywalk on top of the other skywalk.
The real problem is it doesn't matter if we spent it or we haven't spent it because we know we're not going to buy the players that we need. Whether Kane was going or not, there's no reason why we've only brought in one center back. Whether we had that Kane money or not, that money should have already been spent on 2 quality center backs, not one. Van de Beek's a nice player and he's fine to have in the club, but he's 21 years old with 1 season in the Bundesliga. The fact that whether Kane is going or staying, he's the only center back we brought in is disgraceful. We need a number 6. Basuma played well that last game, but he's shown over his career he's more of an 8 than a number 6, especially the way that Ange wants to play. We need to bring in somebody proper to play that role. And we need a proper right back. I'm sorry, I know people are in love with Emerson and all the vibes that he brings and all the how cool he is. He really tries hard. He spent $1 million to get better, but it doesn't mean shit. We're playing in the Premier League. This isn't kids football where if you're a nice guy and super cool, you get to play, the most minutes. We need a right back. So it doesn't matter whether we spend the Kane money, whether we get 100 million and now we're going to start spending crazy. Our club does not spend like they're supposed to. We've brought Ange in and nothing has changed in terms of how we approach signings and how we spend money. So until we see major changes, it really doesn't matter whether we get that 100 million and now going to go out and spend it or not, because we've shown as a club that we can't do what is needed to do, whether we have money or not, because we've never not had money. That's the biggest myth that we all know. We've always had money.
Before I go to De La Spurs to get his thoughts, I just got to answer International Observer. Put yourself in Harry Kane's shoes, right? When you walk into the national team and you have Calvin Phillips, who has more trophies than you, right? Calvin Phillips, who is like levels below your level, right? You go back to your club, who for 8 or 9 years says, we're going to build a team around you to be able to win trophies. And time after time after time, they failed you. Even to the point that even when in the finals, they fired a coach that you loved and you really, really like, right? A serial winner, Jose Mourinho, right? Then makes a gentleman's agreement and then renege or on that agreement, then humiliate your brother in all of the process, right? Because blood's thicker than the water, right? And then to get Antonio Conte, which brought new life to you, for once again the club to fail to build a successful team, to have a plan under Conte. And he should feel that way. Harry Kane shouldn't feel the way. He refused. He had the highest wages. He refused the contract. You just answer your own question, right? If he was offered the highest wages,
Kane's not motivated by money, Mari. He doesn't care about money. He's made his money. He's a multi-millionaire. He wants trophies. The guy said it with Gary Neville. He goes, I will know when it's time to leave Spurs. I'm ambitious. I want to win trophies. He said it with the Gary Neville interview 2 years ago. He said it. So this is what I mean. This is the problem. This is the problem. You're the problem.
There's a reason why whenever we try to come up with, people will say, who else has done this like Kane? And the only name people, a player of his level, the only people can name that they can come up with is Matt Letizia, who, let's be honest, is not on Kane's level. Because when you have a player that's elite like Kane at a club of our size, it's like having a cheat code. You win because every other club out there, when they've had a player at that level, build around him. It makes it easier. That's what's frustrating. Having Kane makes it so much easier to build a team to have success. Like we were talking earlier about Ange, and you can love Ange, but when you take away a player like Kane, it makes it so much harder to compete with the clubs that we are competing with. Like Stell said, Liverpool's at their best right now. Arsenal is peaking. Newcastle has all the money, right? And now we are going to say to Ange, you're going to come in here. You're going to have lesser players than them. You're going to lose the one elite world-class player that we have. Go out there and beat them. And again, when people say this isn't ENIC or Levy's fault, it's 100% their fault, because we all know Kane is not leaving if he has an FA Cup, a league title, a couple Carabao Cups. He's not leaving. He doesn't need to leave. The only thing he doesn't have at Spurs is trophies, right? He lives where he wants to live. He loves London. He's doing everything in his power not to leave London. Everything that he can. The only thing he doesn't have is trophies, and that's 100% down to ENIC and Levy.
Dylan Spurs, you just came in. You heard about the big news. What is your thoughts? How do we get here, and what do we do with the Kane money? Well, what's your thoughts about Kane leaving? It's been a morgue on Twitter and on YouTube because it's the finality. I mean, Kane is gone. It is done. And even me, I supported him going, but it's now reality. So what's your thoughts?
I'm hurt, man. I'm hurt. It's hard to see a generational talent go like that. It's tough, but when you see how the club has been run, it's just the conclusion was there. I think that's why a lot of people, including people on this panel, probably knew that this was going to be the inevitable. We saw it coming, even though it took a little. I guess it took a little bit longer than what some people would assume. But I mean, yeah, man, I'm hurt, man. I was gutted. I was watching the earlier show. I threw in a couple of super chats in there. So some of my opinions about the whole how the club handled this whole transfer saga. But I made mention to how it's kind of related to like Mbappe and PSG. When you don't handle it correctly and in time, it will come and bite you in the ass. And now it's come to bite Tottenham in the ass a little bit because I think they kind of made themselves look like asses in this negotiation, and then two, I think the biggest thing was that people were like mad that Kane for some reason hasn't communicated or hasn't made it clear that he wants to leave. But I don't know. It's just for me I think it was pretty obvious. He already said he wanted to leave. So I don't think he had to try to make some big PR statement, get a podium with the little Spurs thing in front, and have a thing go out to all Spurs Spurs fans, live streamed all Spurs fans. He doesn't have to do that. He already made it clear that he wanted to leave. I think Bayern was pretty much his match made in heaven. I think competitively in the league, Bayern usually dominates the Bundesliga. I don't watch much of it, so I can't really talk about how competitive they are. Sometimes they have a couple of teams that make it to the Champions League. But other than that, I think it's usually Bayern Munich or
The
Dortmund.
Spurs, they've won 11 league titles in a row.
Well, there you go. There you go. So that lets you know that really he'll get his league title trophy like that. He doesn't have to worry about competing next Champions League. I think they've been, other than Real Madrid, Barcelona, and then the Italian teams, they're probably one of the most successful teams in the Champions League. So
they'll probably win it next year.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Kane going there? They don't win it.
They'll be in it for sure. And I'm sure they're looking to try to compensate from how they went out last year, especially to Man City, how horrible that was. So I'm sure with Kane up front, they're going to be looking to make some noise in the Champions League. And then third, he's the Lewandowski replacement. I think everybody kind of saw that. Not to try to make comparisons between the two players, but obviously he was a replacement. He was a replacement. That is the perfect, if you're going to try to have any carbon copy of how they played with Lewandowski, the amount of goals, the amount of production they had, and the style that they play with, it's gonna be Kane that can slot into it the best. And then you have Sane and Gnabry next to you, and they're gonna be cooking, man. They're gonna be cooking. And then the question: how do we spend the Kane money? We obviously have to rebuild from this. I think there's definitely most of it needs to go to the defense. And what I mean by that is that we need to get a big bad defender on this team. We need to get someone who is the ace of that back line. Everyone listens to him. He doesn't have to be the captain, but he has to be the guy. He has to be the man. He's going to grab someone by the neck, take control of the back line so the team can actually take control of the game. We got to get someone in, and we can still look at Bastoni or whoever, but we just got to get a big name.
No, we ain't getting. Sorry, Dallas Spurs, man. We ain't getting no one in, man. Like that. The minute
Tapsoba, you can still kind of get if United doesn't.
The minute Levy
ban.
got on that flight to Miami, that was the end of our transfer window. I just don't think. Put it away. That's why he done a runner.
They're going to listen. That's what we're going to do. We're going to bring back Clement Longley, and then the whole fan base is going to the whole fan base is going to go immediately on suicide watch because there's only so much pain you take before you say, right, I'm just going to do something. I can't take it no more. And we haven't got the balls to stand up to the owners, so we'll just lose the freaking plot.
Yeah,
we'll lose the plot.
I wish. No, Estelle, you know what's going to happen? We're going to bring Longley back, and people are going to say, well, he is better than Dyer and Davey, so maybe we got to give Ange a chance. And if we're bringing him back, that means Ange wants him, so he probably is going to work in our system.
Yeah,
with Ange.
I'll tell you the favorite one. My favorite one I'm hearing at the moment, Scott, is Spurs fans that are saying, if Harry Kane goes, watch, we'll win the FA Cup now. No, we won't. No, we won't. We're not going to win the FA Cup, man. What planet are you on? We're going to win the FA
Cup. Who do you guys prefer? If we supposedly spend the money for a striker, this kid's on fire, Urban, but there's also Vlahovic that's still available. I like both. I lean towards Vlahovic, who has scored 3 goals in the 2 preseason games that he's played. He was nicked up, but he's played 2 games and scored 3 goals already. He's upset. Doesn't like Allegri. We have a special relationship with Juventus. Would you, if we were going to go after a striker, prefer Vlahovic over Orban, or you're more on, hey, let's get the young kid Orban, let's get it for cheap. Yeah, he's only done this 1 year for Genk, but what's the panel thinking?
I don't see why if you're Vlahovic, like why are you coming to Spurs? Like I understand if you're like Gift Orban and you're like, was it 21 years old? You're trying to break through. And yeah, like the only one is Gift Orban, but he probably asked for like a release clause of some kind to go
Gift
to
Orban's
as a
already
stepping
turned around and
stone.
said he wouldn't go to Arsenal because they don't win stuff. So why is he going to come to us?
Where is that? Oh,
Which player
I
said
don't
that?
know.
Or
We have
Gift Orban turned around and said he wouldn't go to Arsenal, like because they don't win stuff. So why is he going to come to Spurs?
Orban said that?
Gift Orban, like he turned around and said, because there was rumours of Arsenal that were interested in him, and he turned around and said he won't go to Arsenal because Arsenal don't win things. He wants to go to a team that wins things. So he definitely ain't coming to us.
Yeah. So
So Vlahovic it is, but even then, you go to Vlahovic, you'll turn around and say, "Who?" Like you lot sacked Conte. I liked Conte as a manager. Like I ain't coming to you lot.
I don't think I don't think we can attract Vlahovic. I don't think we can attract Vlahovic.
Nah.
We should take the chance, though. We have money. Just take the
I agree.
chance.
And the Spurs, we should go for Laporte, Vlahovic. I agree with you, but just looking at the state of our club, if Vlahovic has got good people around him and a good agent, they'll say, "Look, go there, but you're gonna ruin your career. Like, do you want to hold out for something where you might have a chance?" But this is the message that's going to be sent to all these players now. There's no way Maddison would have come to us unless Leicester got relegated. Let's have it right. If Leicester never got relegated, he's not coming to us.
And his wife wanted to come to London.
He wants to come to London. But Solomon was free. Ashley Phillips, under 10 million. Van der Ven, look, we're an upgrade on Wolfsburg. We're better than Wolfsburg. So when I don't see how we get players that are in a better place than us. I don't understand how we can attract them. What's the hook other than London and maybe higher wages? Maybe, but then can't other clubs offer that? Can't other clubs offer higher wages? I don't know.
Yeah, I think Orban would have been great, but H reminds me that of those comments he said. So, maybe you get him and you say, "Hey, he's here for 2 years," and we get. I think he's the kind of player that makes more sense. I mean, if you're selling Kane, we're clearly not going for anything next year. We were talking about it yesterday with Ash Maddock, right, Mari, that next season is probably going to just have to be a bit of a reset. So if you have a player like Orban coming in, you kind of hope that you get to bring a young player like that in, and that he has his breakout with you. Why we probably should have tried to get somebody like Watkins or Tony back when they were still in the championship to bring them in when they're cheap players rather than bringing them in when they're 60, 70, 80 million, and we're not going to pay that amount of money. But I'm not sure Vlahovic fits. I'm not sure Orban fits with his comments. And that's the problem with leaving it this late is now you're kind of scrambling around to see who you can bring in. And it's probably not anyone who makes much sense right now.
Yeah, this is the thing though, like Scott, like these strikers ain't going to come to us. Now, the only one I would suggest would be Ivan Toney. Start the conversation with his club and his agents, see where he is, see if he's interested. If he's interested, yeah, all right, we're going to try and go for him. But you go in there early and you just literally just pay what the club want. None of this, oh, yeah, we'll start with this or we'll give 5 million less or whatever. You just pay the money if you need it. But as I said to you guys earlier, my fear is I don't think we're signing any more players. I honestly don't. I think the maximum we'll go for is a striker. And even then, like I don't think it's going to happen. I think they're going to try and get Tony on the cheap because obviously, like no one's going to touch him with a barge pole yet. Like it's not even that no one's going to touch him. No one can get him at the moment because he's not allowed to speak to anyone. But we can actually make dialogue with his agent and with the club itself. But other than that, like I can't see. There's no one out there. There is actually no one out there that you can obviously the Lukaku thing. I think might happen. I think a loan for Lukaku might happen if that's what they want to go down. But I think that's going to be another piss take from Chelsea. They're going to absolutely they're just going to laugh in our faces if we turn around and accept Lukaku. But I don't think we're going to sign anyone. I think the money's already been spent. I think as Stel said, Clement Longley is going to come in, yeah, and I think he's going to have to make do with what he's got, and at least till January, and see where we are. Only if we start off and we lose our first couple of games, maybe then they'll turn around and invest, or they might have their eye on someone already and they'll just go and put a bid in and see if they can get it. It'll be someone cheap. It's like, I'll give you an example. We needed number 6. For the life of me, I just don't understand. You had Tyler Adams. I know some people might not like him, but I think for the position as a number 6, he was brilliant for Leeds. Yeah, without him, as soon as he got injured, Leeds went down the pan and they got relegated because I think he missed the last 8 games or so. Yeah, Tyler Adams for me was a no-brainer, a 20 million release clause. Yeah, they should have gone and got him. What's happened? Chelsea have basically triggered his release clause. He's going to Chelsea. Yeah. Then the other one was just a note. Do you know, I was screaming about this from before the transfer window even opened, was Alex Scott. That kid is a super talent. Yeah. For me, get him in, playing behind Maddison, whenever as Maddison's replacement. If you want to take Maddison off, play him, because the kid had so much talent. Yeah. For me, a Spurs fan, most of all, the kid was a Spurs fan. £25 million. We could have got 2 players, 2 attacking players. He can play right across the attack. Alex Scott can play from left. He can play with both feet. Where does he go? Bournemouth. Bournemouth snap him up. 20 million up front, 5 million on add-ons. Yeah. Now you got Tyler Adams. He's gone to Chelsea. 50 million pounds. You would have got 2 decent players. But that's just Tottenham. I don't think we're going to sign anymore. If, as I said, it would only be if it's an emergency. But I reckon Clement Longley is going to come in. They might get rid of a couple more players. You've had Rodon's gone to Leeds on a season loan, and they'll start getting rid of the players now. They're going to try and get whatever they can for Tanguy or whatever. But I think there's going to be a couple of contracts that are going to be ripped up. But I don't think we're going to be buying anyone yet. So that money that we get for Kane, Amari, that's probably going to go on to the cost for the women's stadium that they're building in the golf course, at that golf course that the women's stadium's going to be built there. So that money's probably going to go towards that invested, and the American football training ground. That's what that money's going to go on, or majority of it.
More Enoch Properties expansion. 2 things. When I answer this question, I want to get to maybe the last point of the night. Big up Texas, bro. He said, I have a question. What happened to Ange finding cheap players from different leagues and integrating in the squad? Wasn't that a positive quality everyone talked about when he signed? Yeah, exactly. I'll say this. There is one potential. I know people are meh on Veliz. I think Veliz could possibly pan out, but we will have to find out. But I definitely get your point of going to different leagues and getting all these type of players. I think ultimately Tottenham's scouting system is not in place. They're not the best at doing it, like say Celtic or say Brighton does it well. Our scouting has been horrible. I'm hoping that Velez pan out, because I'm finally happy that we scouted a gumball player, straight out of South America, and so there's a good chance he could pan out, and there's a chance he might not pan out. But I definitely get your point, um, because that is supposed to be his MO. He's gonna find players from here, hidden gems, hidden gems, hidden gems.
But let's
But but also too, these hidden gems have to pan out because it's a different beast in the Premier League than the Scottish Premier League. It is a different beast. Um, so if he wanted to find a gem last night, I was hyping him up, and he shined yesterday. There's a left back. I still think we need a new left back and right back. Valentin Barco shined yesterday. This guy is going to be scooped up by an Italian club ASAP or City. City's going to do the same thing with Julian Alvarez, scoop him up because this kid is not going to stay with my Boca Juniors any longer. And so, Tottenham has to do better in regards to scouting. Scott, you want to say something?
Well, I'm just gonna I don't know when he first came in, this was going to be the game changer we were going to have. You kind of touched on it, bringing in hidden gems from like Japan and Asia to come play in the Scottish Premier League is a whole nother world to bringing them in to the Premier League. And I know a lot of the excitement was because Matoma came from Japan. Well, first off, I'll say no slight to the Asian market, but how many players in Japan are there that are good enough to be game changers in the Premier League, right? Like it might just be that even if Ange knows those players, they just don't exist. And again, if you're looking for those players, you're now going against, I'll say the same names, City, Liverpool, United, Chelsea. It's a whole different world than going against Hearts, Hibs, Aberdeen, right? That's the difference. And it's no slight on Ange. It's just he might have insight into the players there, but there might not be players good enough to come in and make a difference. Teams have scouted all over now in Japan. It's not a kind of an unknown league, I think, that it might have been in the past. And I just don't think there was that many players there. So people coming in and saying that he's going to make a difference there, I think it was a little bit hopeful. And I understand why, right? Because is there anything better than hoping that you're going to find an unknown cheap gem? Because that's really the best chance that we have. Because we're not going to go out there and pay for the gems. We're going to have to hope that we get lucky for it. But I just think it was a really hopeful kind of view that we had when he came in, and it was never really likely going to be the possibility.
Yeah, I want to get to this last part here because it's the end. How do we remember Harry Kane? I'll start off by saying, at the time, my head and shoulders favorite player of Spurs. It was really between Jermaine Defoe, Gareth Bale, and Ledley. And when Gareth Bale left, I was devastated. But it prepared me to the sense of players come and go, And so for me, with Kane leaving, I'm not as devastated because of the other departures. Kyle Walker, Modric, Gareth Bale, especially Gareth Bale, because that one for me, loved Bale. When he left, I was just like, how can we be selling him to Real Madrid? He should be a Spur for life. And the Totties of the world, it's a rarity. It's an anomaly. Messi's left Barcelona. You know, you don't stay in your one club forever. And so for me, I want to remember Kane as a good servant for the club. He represented the badge well, world class, and there are wonderful memories. Um, I also remember there were times where we needed Kane to step up, and he didn't step up. Um, in those few chances that he had a chance to um, possibly bring in the trophy. I think he was. I'll say this: Spurs has been an enigma in the sense of we went from the highs to highs, of making the Champions League level to last season being dread. And I think with Harry Kane, I look at him as he's a club legend, but he was part of that enigma period that is the Levy era. He's perfect model in the sense of there was the highs of okay, he was part of that great team of Poch, and someone said Lucas played got us to the final. Yeah, he did. Um, the highs of the highs, but he was also part of the lows of the lows. Sheffield United, the loss to Rochelle de Friero, the chocolate bar. I can't pronounce the name of the team. Shakhtar Donetsk. So it's more of an enigma in the sense of what I will remember of that Spurs era and Harry Kane. Club legend will be missed, but go ahead, go win your trophies. You need that for your resume. That's the only thing that's missing from his resume is trophies. So that's how I choose to remember Kane. Good job serving our club, and now reach for higher heights, win those trophies. Anybody wants to go next?
Well, yeah, I'd say for me, I remember Kane as the best player I've ever seen play at Spurs. I think he goes down as arguably, for me, it's not arguably, but I know people get upset if I just say this, but I think he's probably arguably the best player Spurs have had in the Premier League era. I know people might say that individuals had, like, you could argue whether Klinsmann was a better player than Kane, but I think when you look at Kane's skill and longevity at the club, I think he's the greatest player Spurs have had in the Premier League era. Going on way back to Greaves and those guys. that's for Arthur to discuss. That's well beyond my time. But I think he goes down as a great club legend who we as a club failed. Levy and Enoch failed in getting him what he deserved. And I know people will talk about his performances. We've already talked about it in finals and whatnot. But the reality is he never played in a final where the team he played on was clearly or even slightly the better team. He was always playing on teams that didn't have that needed push that you need to win trophies. And unfortunately, for all of his great skill, he didn't get to win anything. But that doesn't diminish to me anything about his quality and his legendary status at the club.
I'll go next then. Harry Kane, the most deluded player we've ever had to stay here for as long as he has and suck up this nonsense and not have the cojones to put in a transfer request years ago. How he never put in a transfer request the year he wanted to go to City is beyond me. He cares more about the fans and doing the right thing than actually progressing his career. I think if he left and put in a transfer request that season, nobody would have begrudged him. But he's lost 2 years of trophies. Okay, I think he's just absolutely shot himself in the foot, and now he's probably going to a club that he wants to go to because it's better than Tottenham. But in an ideal world, he could have gone to City. He could have gone to a Premier League club, which I think he probably would have preferred more. But okay, it is what he is. As a football player, he's class. I've only seen 3 players in my life at Spurs that I actually think are class. Actually on the ball consistently. Gascoigne, Berbatov, and Kane. Those 3, actually Modric. Modric was class as well. They were class players, man. Absolute class. He's one of them. Absolute gem. I don't buy into this thing as well about Ange. He'll deal with it without Kane. I don't buy into that. I think we're going to have problems. I'd like to be proven wrong in that, but anyway, I'm going off on one here. Kane, class. He's one of 4 class players that I can honestly say. I don't regard Bale as class because he just had a great left foot thunderbolt of a shot. Modric made things happen. Kane makes things happen. Berbatov made things happen. Gaza made things happen. They're different level, man. Different level. If Ledley King played another 3-4 years, I would have put him in that group as well. But his career got cut short. But I never saw Hoddle play, by the way, to London Brawl. I missed out on that period. But Kane is a class player, and he's going to be magnificent at Bayern Munich. He's going to be brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was a soldier for Spurs. I think he was, or that he is, one of the best players that we've had here at the club. So, it hurts to see him go, man. But he's a Tottenham legend through and through. Do I think we're gonna have like some statue of him at Tottenham? Maybe. Highest goal is scored, so I mean, it might be worth it. But I mean, he's a Spurs legend through and through. One of the best players at Spurs, one of the best players in the Premier League. You can even say arguably one of the best players in England. So he's definitely I think he's definitely been like the guy that kind of helped put Spurs, especially up in that level with top six. I know everyone says financially we're there, but I think Kane really was the reason why we stayed in top six. We could be and compete in top six, really. Yeah, I mean, kind of like Stell said, I think we're gonna struggle now. Really, I think we're really gonna struggle. I don't really think people understand how much he's contributed to this team and how much we relied on him as far as actually getting us and progressing us somewhere. In like I said, keeping us in the top six. I mean, I think we're really gonna struggle. But all in all, he's a Spurs legend. I'm gonna miss him, man. I'm gonna miss him. It's gonna hurt to see him wear a different uniform. It's gonna be strange and it's gonna hurt.
Can I pose this question? And we'll get to Hatch and Alexander. How do they remember Kane? I understand. I get the fact that it's true. Good teams that don't have a one goal scorer like a Lewandowski or Benzema or Kane or Haaland that scores 3 goals. Most teams have 4 or 5 guys who score. Some people say that we may be better in the sense that Sonny will score 12 or 13, 14 goals. Kulu will drop in 7. Madison will drop in 10. Solomon might drop in 7. Like the goals will spread around. If you're a good team, you spread the goals around. What do you guys think about that theory? Because the system Ange plays, it's set up that there'll be multiple goal scorers, and so in that we're not Kane dependent, will be better. And I can see that point because there are good teams like say Arsenal. Arsenal spread the goals between 6 or 7 players on their team.
Do you know what? Like Murray, like I see what you're saying, and like that is the way Ange plays. Like the goals are shared all around. Like from literally, even from a DM perspective, they'll chip in a few goals the way his team plays. But but the thing is, when I look at it, you say 12 goals for or 13 goals for Son, 7 to 10 goals for Kulu, like and whatnot. Yeah, but when you really when you look at it as a whole, one player scores 30 goals or 25 to 30 goals every season. You're taking that massive chunk out, but not only does he score the goals, he assists. And like it's not even like the actual final assist. He starts play, dictates play. Kane is a generational talent in terms of like what every club has. Yeah, every now and again a club picks up like a player. No one when he first came through, when he came and scored that goal against Villa, no one in their right mind thought that this guy is going to be the club's leading goal scorer. No one. Even after like the first season, you thought, all right, yeah, as you know, like the famous phrase, oh, he's a one season wonder. Like that went through a lot of the players' minds. Yeah, but bottom line is, at the end of the day, like he carried on. He scored. Became the top goal scorer. But my only concern is now he's gone. I something tells me that Ange's going to try this system, and it might work. It might not work. We just got to hope it works, because if it doesn't, yeah, like we are in trouble. I can see us literally dropping, because the thing is, yeah, like as I said, this isn't Celtic. This is the Premier League. This isn't like the Scottish League. It's the Premier League. But we'll leave him alone. Will's after him, like he's bailing for Kane's blood.
Big up Sarah. Sarah's bringing up some points. Man City won the league without a striker.
Yeah, but
They won the league
That's
because
different.
they had
That's
Bernardo
different.
Silva,
Exactly.
KDB, Mahrez. Like,
It
look
goes
at the
back
players.
to C to the fourth.
Yeah.
Scott. Those teams have quality players doing that. That's the difference, and that is
The other difference is Kane. It's not like Kane is running up, taking the ball off those guys' feet and kicking the goals in that they were going to score. Like, so even if you think that Ange's system is going to create more goals from everywhere, well, that system would create even more with Kane in it, right?
Yeah.
Like, we forget Kane isn't just all he does is score. His passing is the way he passes is quality. Like, one of the biggest things that we see with Richarlison is that he is terrible. He doesn't work well with that passing. And people can say he fits into Ange's system because he does what he wants. Fair enough. But I'm pretty sure even Ange wants his everybody on his team to be able to pass and move the ball. And Richarlison in for Kane means that we're limited in what we can do with that. So
yeah,
I just think
100%.
it's a nice romantic idea to think that Ange's system is going to create a lot more. And it's quite possible that it might create more than what we had in the past. But again, and it's going to be the same thing we keep coming to, is it going to create more than City with their better players, Liverpool with their better players, Chelsea with their better players, United with their better players, right? And the system can only go so far. Again, it's a Premier League, right? You're not going to win with subpar players, no matter how good your system is.
Yeah, and also to think about it, was the preseason. Okay, these guys in the second half, they've done well, but it's preseason, and look at the teams who played in preseason. Now the test will be Brentford. That will be the real test. United. Now we're going to see if we can get these other goals from some of these other players. Steak. I know you've been waiting for a while.
Yeah.
How do you remember Kane?
He's just world class. Like, I don't know if it'll be impossible to replace him individually. Like, maybe if you stop the goals going in our own net, maybe that does anything. But with this ownership, I don't see that happening ever. Like, how do you replace 30 goals from one player without spending 200 million and having a reputation of Real Madrid? Like, it's impossible. Or unless we have another Harry Kane situation in the next 80 years. And I don't know how you fuck up so badly that you have Dyer, Davies, and Sanchez still at the club, and your world class top ever goal scorer has left for a cut price fee of £100 million.
Yeah. I mean, just to put it in perspective for everyone, I just looked up the stats. We had 68 goals in the Premier League. The opponents had 62. Kane has 30. So you're talking about a guy who's literally responsible for almost half of our goals scored last season. So if you think Ange's system can produce 30 plus goals this season, I mean, you can have that opinion, but
you take 20 off
You
that.
ain't replacing it. Like you have
And
to
you're
go
like
and get probably
30,
2 players.
14th.
Even if you replace it, that got us 8th place last year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Still wasn't even close to good
right?
enough.
I mean, that's if you replace it, that got us 8th place. So,
does anyone think we're getting top 4 next year, even if we play
No.
brilliant?
Absolutely.
No. Maybe if you had Kane and they're getting transfers, but no way.
Top six. No, we're
No.
not in Europe.
No.
Without Europe.
Maybe 10th.
Yeah,
we
like I see us struggling for top 10.
We need. No, I heard Ricky Sachs because he was upset earlier on Sky Sports.
He's another fraud. He's another one.
Yeah.
This ownership. Sorry, Morris.
Just stop it.
With Kane, they had a chance for. We just ruined that. And I'm like, even with Kane, I didn't have them go to the Champions League. Without Kane, let's put him on Mbappe. We're not going to Champions League.
Murray, I watched last one on Spurs, bro, before I come on this year. And Ricky Sachs said it's unforgivable what the board have done, right? He said it's unforgivable. And Lee McQueen said, I now want them gone. I want the owners gone, right? And all I was thinking was, what have we been saying for the last 5 years? And you guys have never backed it, never supported us. Everything we've done is to avoid exactly something like this happening. Is to stop it. Now it's happened, right? I've had enough. The damage has been done. The sabotage has occurred. The ship has sunk. It's too late, you motherfuckers. It's too fucking late for you lot to start crying. It drives me crazy, man. And people like Brian and I have had unbelievable abuse, man. I get called paedophile. I get called a rapist. I get called a nonce. I get called you name it. I've been called it. Now I want a change of ownership. I'm like, you fucking
Oh my goodness.
It's too late.
No, but you know, look. At least their thought process. Still, look. Listen, you got to look at it. You got to look at this point. Yeah, at least their minds are attuned now. Finally, attuned to yours. Dude, now the only way. What needs to happen now is this is the opportunity you have to take. Is to try and say, right, okay, let's do something about it.
Right.
You guys have literally said enough is enough. Put your money where your mouth is. That is what you need. That is what they need to do. Do you know what? What you need to do is you need to literally, and this is not by aggression. You need to literally contact Ricky Sachs and say, listen, Ricky, I'm really interested. Just to come onto one of your shows and just talk about what
he's not allowed. He's not allowed. His friends will disown him. He won't. Half those people that go on his show will stop going on his show. They cannot handle having a Levy out or Enoch out proper person on that show. They can't handle it because they'll lose their contract with Sky Sports, their sponsors.
Yeah, but the thing is that Patrick Tyrant, he's
never been to one pro. He's a biggest shill going, Patrick Tyrant. Come to the protest. Get your ass down there. Promote it. Does he promote the protest? No. Does he come to the protest? No. But when he's in front of the cameras, yeah, I've been Levy out since I was 3 years old. And oh, really? Oh, okay.
What really needs to happen with them though is that when
I'll message him. I'll message him tomorrow. Let's see if we can get him to the protest on the weekend.
But H, what really needs to happen is that when we then beat Fulham and we draw Preston North End and beat them, and we're in the quarterfinals of the cup, are they still going to be saying the same thing, or do they go right back now and say, "Oh yeah, no, Levy's great, he's taking us right"? That's what happened in the past. They started to move. We started to hear a little bit of questions about the board around the Conte time, right? But then once we signed Ange in the summer, they're right back up, hyping it all up again, right? And that's what they need to show if they're going to.
But this is the thing, Scott.
Levy out is that they stick with it.
Scott, the thing is, what's got to stop happening is obviously Stel and these guys basically they're on their shows and they do their shows or whatever, but it's people like us that have to.
Scott comes in the comments. He doesn't
I
even
know.
come
That's
in
what.
the show. He
That's
comes in the
exactly what I'm
comments,
about to
end
say.
show.
We got to stop.
Here's Captain Negative. Here's Captain Negative.
No, but this is the thing. We have to cut. If we go onto those comments, section, we have to stop abusing them. Like, we have to be like, basically, you have to go in there and you got to say, right, okay, this is what we think. What do you think about that? You ask them the question. You put them on the spot. I've literally done it a couple of times, and I've got a good response. Not from Chris Cowling.
They side skip. Do you know what I'm gonna do? I've got a secondary YouTube channel called Soccer Sessions. Right, I'm gonna start using that to communicate. They won't know it's me. I'm gonna say, hi guys, glad that you now want the ownership gone. The last 5 years of the Enoch out, leave out protesters that everyone's kind of given quite a bit of stick. Is it now time to actually say respect to you guys because you've been saying it for the last 5 years? And do you know what? Maybe they'll reply to that. Let's see.
I hope it's. You know what? I hope that they're on board, and I hope that they're leaving out. And it's. I can't. I'm not obviously over there to talk about the protest, but I hope that they get involved. And if they do, fair play to them. That's great.
Crackers came to the protest.
What I am going to say is,
Crackers came to the protest.
But I've heard them say move this way in the past. I've heard them kind of, when they start to see that things are getting, again, like when it was Conte and there was all that smoke and fire around Conte, and they started to be a little bit, the board, that we need to do something differently. And then once Ange got hired, they changed their tune right away. We stopped hearing any complaints about the board, right? And so that's what I want to see. That's what I want to see.
You'll always get that. You it's not just from them. You get this from
no.
A lot of the fans that go onto the stadium. You got to remember, like half of those fans that are in this stadium now, a lot of them are tourists or shareholders. There's a bunch of shareholders, quite a lot of shareholders, that are basically literally scattered all around the stadium. That South Stand was supposed to. I used to sit in the South Stand at White Hart Lane. I was a season ticket holder there for God knows how many years. Now, over there, then they started basically there was quite a few people around that would literally they were quite aggressive. Not aggressive, but anything happened, they would leave you out. Now, what's happened is since the new stadium, we spent 2 years in Wembley. They then formulated a plan on separating everyone, pricing those people in the South Stand out of tickets for certain stands. And that's what's happened. They've literally spread a lot of the old school boys. They don't even come to the games because they say it's too expensive. Because the South Stand, some of the prices are ridiculous on there, compared to what we were paying at White Hart Lane. So, they have literally strategically split up the hardcore bunch. And they've spread them all around the stadiums because they made cheap tickets available in certain areas and which were affordable. Because a lot of the guys that I used to sit with, they say, I can't do it. I can't afford it. I've got a family, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And it was difficult. I've got a season ticket there. I pay £1,500. I don't even go to the game. I haven't been to a game in 3 years. Because I've been stuck in bed. But I've been renewing every year. Last season was the first time they actually let me. They said, right, okay, you've got to buy. You don't have to renew. We'll keep your seat for you. This season, they turned around and said, you have to start paying. So I'm paying. I paid £1,500, and I'm just selling. I've sold the first 3 games already. I put it up on sale, and they went within a couple of hours. You're always going to get people in there. Majority of them are tourists, and but the thing is, what you have to do is the people that are there from the old school, from White Hart Lane, they're the ones that you need to get hold of. A lot of them are literally shareholders, or a lot of them are scattered all over the place. It's just trying to communicate. And I'll give you for example, I know someone told me from. A couple of people told me from the last word in Spurs that not Tottenham away, but around there's they had death threats from like certain individuals.
I know who that is.
And that's why they can't they feel uncomfortable joining.
Listen. Let me tell you about this death threat. Yeah, I know exactly where that comes from and what channel's behind it. It's got nothing to do with us, by the way. So just so you don't know, that is a personal thing that happened 5 years ago between the person involved and Last One on Spurs. How they can then label other channels is you can't connect the dots. It's impossible. You can't say, for example, this isn't what happened. We are Tottenham TV sent death threats to Last One on Spurs, right? For example, right? Ben and Sim would never, ever, ever do that. Let's say they did it. Right, so now Tottenham Away can't go in there. Now Sean Butler can't go in there. Brian Daigle's channel can't go in there. How does this make sense? Like, it's excuses. It's excuses. I know the whole story. I get why they don't want it for that particular channel, but no other channels have got anything to do with that channel. So it's excuses.
No, I'm just going by like sort of the story that I've been.
Look at the people they have. Look at the people they have on their channel, right? Go. Patrick Tyrant is a great example. Go watch how Patrick used to behave on the football terrace, and watch how he behaves.
Yeah, no, I've seen him on the football terrace.
Right, he's a different person. They want people that are gonna behave their way. They want them to like fit the mold, right? Bullshit. Either you're a real fan, or you just pander to the masses. You're like a chameleon. How can you be a chameleon and then have a backbone of an opinion? That means you're only ever going to say.
Do you know how I see it still? The way I see it, the YouTube content creators, they're like classes. So you got the working class, you got the middle class, and you got the upper class. Right? And that's the way it is. Like, and they see it like that.
And you got the pussy class. There's a pussy class as well. Come on, man.
Sue Smith put this in, and it had me thinking. You know what's so heartbreaking is that
social class.
I can never say of my favorite Spurs players, except for Ledley King. Man, remember that time when we won this cup and Gareth Bale held up the trophy and our captain? Do you remember the time when Luka and Jermaine Defoe and did one trophy? Do you remember the time where Harry Kane and Sonny, when we don't have those memories? And I think that's the sad thing about it, that Kane is leaving, and other than reaching the Champions League final, which he was injured for,
Murray. I was at Sheffield United away in the FA Cup like last year when we lost 1-0 against. Right, I travelled 4 hours for that. Okay, we were getting bantered outside the stadium on the it was the worst waste of my life. Right, at half time, this Spurs fan, right? They were that middle class, not lower middle class, more closer to the higher, the upper middle class, right? Just by the way they dressed, the way they spoke, I knew they were. I could roughly gauge it without being stereotypical. And he goes to me, "Why do you chant that Levy out?" So I said to him, "Which bit of it don't you get?" And I'll explain it to you. Right? I thought I'm just gonna poke him a bit here. And he goes to me, "Well, what does Levy out mean?" Levy, the chairman, get out of the club. But rather than me saying Levy, the chairman, get out of the club, I say Levy out. He goes, "But why?" I go, "Why do you want him to stay?" He goes to me, "Mate, you're one of those that blames the owners for everything." I said, "Okay, now we're just going up on one here. You're just saying things that I haven't said. You asked me why I said Levy out. I've told you I want him out of the club. The reason I want him out of the club is because I don't believe he's got what it takes, the ambition, the planning, the strategy, anything to deliver footballing success. Nothing. I do not believe he gives a damn about the football team. He'll do just enough to keep us ticking, and he'll never, ever do what it takes for us to be successful. That's why I want him gone. And he goes to me, oh, what? Do you think a different owner can do that? I said, yes. He goes, well, show me the owner. I said, I can't, because it's not my job to sell the club. It's his, right? And then he goes to me, oh, but don't you appreciate all the wonderful memories we've had? I said, what memories? What are you talking about? And Murray, this was the killer for me. His words now, right? I'm just building up to it. I would much rather experience another Lucas Moura moment in Ajax than change the chairman. And I looked at him, and when I mean I lost it. Henry Wright had to come over and pull me. Honestly, I lost it. I thought I can't keep my cool when I hear stuff like that. I would rather have a Lucas Moura moment again.
Fucking these people at the club.
His friend.
How do we win?
Mate, his friend is sitting next to him doing this. Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna knock you out. I'm gonna knock him out. And he's like, no, calm down. Everyone, calm down. I'm like, Lucas Moura.
Oh my God.
I go, and do you know what? At the end of the game when we lost, I went, shame Lucas Moura weren't playing tonight, innit? Geez, he fucking went nuts. Listen, but you know what? But Murray, like, you talk about memories, okay? Do you know how many Spurs fans will look at that Lucas Moura moment as a great memory that makes them proud to support Tottenham? Like, don't get me wrong, it was a great moment. Like, we'll never forget the moment, but what did it lead to? Us being bantered by
I was about to say that moment hurt. Losing in the final almost hurt as much as good as the Lucas Moura moment was. Like, watching that performance in the final, I was
at the final.
I was hurt. Oh,
I was at the final.
I was
You went to
so
Spain?
I was bored to death.
I was at the final.
I was like,
I'm telling you.
I was hurt. I was hurt. But then you hear fans that are just, I'm just happy to be at the final. I'm just happy we made it to the final. I was like, man, I'd rather stayed home than to watch us lose 2-0. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. Just happy to be there. We gave up a penalty like in the first 5 minutes, and then we had absolutely nothing for the rest of the game. And then Origi scored a last-minute goal to just, I'm just happy to be here. No.
Let me to the Spurs. Let me ask you a question, right? How many times have you watched replays on YouTube, whether it's 8 minutes, half an hour, whatever, a little bit of highlights from that semi-final? Be honest.
I don't go back and watch it. Why would I watch it?
No. Listen, I'll be honest with you. I've watched it. I've watched it loads. I've watched that Lucas Moura.
Yeah, I watched it as well.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I've watched it plenty of times.
Yeah.
I feel sad about the club, and which is sad because there's no other memories I could go back to. I mean,
but Murray. Here's a question though. There's two parts, right? So, I think most people have watched that replay just to see the behavior of the pundits in the commentary, to listen to the commentator go, Jermaine's genius is speechless, and the fans celebrating, right? Yeah. It makes you feel good, right?
Ferdinand, Glenn Hoddle.
Yeah, Ferdinand, and pushing Glenn Hoddle against the wall, yeah, right? But here's the thing. How many times have you watched any replay of that final?
Never.
I've never watched it.
I've watched it live, and I never watched it again.
You're right, still. I've never watched the game. I've never watched
that's the point.
I've never watched the game. I've never watched the game.
It's scarred into my memory. Like, I can remember what happened in the final. It's like I don't ever want to watch it.
You know what? I tell you what, yeah.
That's the point.
The worst
guy
thing
sitting next to me couldn't understand because he was so amazed by the semi-final, the final piece of the jigsaw. It's like no one's seen it. None of us have watched it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do,
No,
do,
yes.
do you know what? Like,
The semi-final
the
was our
worst thing
final.
about
The
that final
semi-final was our
was
final. That was our final.
The replay of that game. Other than the day of the game, I have not watched a second
the
of.
day of the game. Like the day of the game, it was absolutely roasting in Spain. Absolutely roasting. And the worst thing was, we had got absolutely slaughtered. We got absolutely slaughtered. And then the walk was about, it was about a 3 mile walk, 4 mile walk to the stadium in the heat.
God.
There was no trains. You was getting like you. In fact, you got a train. You come out and you literally. I would say we were walking for about half an hour. Got there, then they were saying, "Oh, you got to wait. You got to wait. Queue up, queue up." And it was. I think it must have been about 36 degrees, and it was like the sun was just beaming down on us because the stadium's like a good walk from the station. And then once you're in, they don't serve alcohol, so you have to drink non-alcoholic beer. But I managed to, where I was sitting, I sat basically right next to Pat Jennings, Clive Allen, Pat Jennings. Who else was it? The striker, like from the 70s, probably won't know.
Mark Palco.
No, 70s, from the early 70s. You look at, oh, bloody hell, what's his name? He used to be always at the stadium, like as one of the special guests. Martin Shivers, Ricky Villa. Yeah, I was literally sitting around. So where we were quite central, they were on the side, and like we were literally on the same row. So I'd got loads of pictures with them, and like we were just asking them, "What do you think?" And they all were quite confident. I was like, I'm never confident with Tottenham. It's the final. And they've won finals like in their time. But yeah, no, like it was, I think when we went 1-0 down, you saw the players' heads drop and you thought to yourself, they're not coming back from this. You just knew. You could see it in their faces. It's like, and even the crowd. Like even this Tottenham crowd, like literally, like they were saying, "Oh, it's done now. It's done now. That's it. They're going to catch us on the counter. They're going to catch us on the counter," and that's what happened.
Man,
Like, from after the 5th minute, the actual team just literally dropped their heads. And Kane shouldn't have started in that game. Everyone was saying it that were there. They were saying, like, no, he shouldn't be starting. It should Mora.
Yeah.
But the rest is history.
See,
But yeah,
so-
I've never watched the game again.
Yeah, same here. See, Cube just came in. How do you remember Kane? Your thoughts?
So I haven't been a fan for that long. That being said, I'm very disappointed that I will never be able to go to the stadium and see a Kane and Son combination. And Son jumping into Kane's arms, which he does all the time. After they, just boss that pitch against anybody. It could be anybody. The best team in the league, Man City, couldn't even quiet them. That Kane game against City, it was under Conte. Oh my gosh, that performance, unplayable, completely unplayable, where he scored like, I don't know how many goals. It must have been like 6 or 7 goals, but so many of them were like offsides or like they were, VAR was ruling it out. But that, oh my gosh, it was so Conte's first year, that Man City game, he was so good. And every North London derby as well. I mean, yes, top goal scorer, all those things about Kane, but like the big thing is those moments. I'll remember like those moments, and I feel so disappointed that I won't be able to see him at the stadium in my lifetime playing in a Spurs shirt, because I have never been to the stadium yet, and so that sucks. But I'll also just remember him and be really sad that we wasted our time with him, that we couldn't get ourselves to back him, back a manager, and get him lifting a trophy. So I just bought a couple of Spurs kits, not from the club directly. I have to admit that, because I don't put money in Levy's pocket. But everybody says, oh, Cube's a Sun fan, she's a Sun fan. So I got a shirt with Kane's name on the back, and I got a shirt with Lloris's name on the back for this season, knowing that both of them were probably leaving, and that was going to be the last time that I could get their name on the back. And I feel so disappointed when I look at that and think, wow, I'll never be able to see Kane and Lloris and Sonny lift a trophy for Spurs. It just breaks my heart.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Tell us Spurs. Can I just address one thing, then ask you a question? Because right, sorry, wrong one. I'm not sure I understand this, but I'm not afraid to debate anyone in the football community. Terry is a coward because he set up a stream for us to go on, and then he wouldn't go on at the time I said I was free, and he told the world that I didn't show up, which is rubbish. And now he won't let me on the channel. So that's that one. And as for Sean Butler, I've made 2 videos saying, Sean, I want to debate you about things that you've said. I'm still waiting for a response. So I don't understand where you say that. And as for this guy here, me making videos about Cyprus flags and against Turks. Do you know, I'd rather you just call me a nonce or a paedophile, because I'm quite comfortable with those now. But this is next level shit. I don't get it, man.
Just ignore them, man. They're fucking idiots. Excuse my French. Sorry, Mari. Like, don't be swearing on your stream. But these people are just fucking idiots. They're trolls.
I know, but I like to address it
They
because
hide behind the keyboard, man. So, like, they ain't got the balls to come on. That's the
this one
problem.
here-
Like, they're not men. Like, they haven't drunk their mum's milk, man. They're not men. They're pussies, man. Like, excuse my French. Sorry, Cube. Sorry, I apologize. Like, but yeah, no, I just get vexed with people like that.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Not just
Tell
hiding
us
behind
first.
keyboards, hiding behind fake troll accounts. That person is. But
Yeah, they're cowards.
he's already been banned from the channel, so he's got to use.
They're cowards. Like they hide behind the keyboard. Man up. That's what they need to do. They need to man up.
Yeah. Man up, people, man.
What was the question, Dylan Spurs?
I was gonna ask. I mean, I know we're doing the ticket demonstration and everything, and I do honestly think now with Harry Kane gone, I think there's gonna be a push to make it a bigger demonstration. But do you see fans still justifying paying such high ticket prices to come watch Spurs play? Because I imagine having Harry Kane, Tottenham legend, England ace, that was part of the draw. You could say Human Song is also part of the draw. He is for, a more international crowd. But I mean, for the English fans, I'm thinking that was probably the biggest thing. Because I mean, I don't live in England, but I see it on social media. I understand that Tottenham gets bantered everywhere we go. So having Harry Kane really was the thing that, the thing that we could rely on. That no, we have the England ace, the guy that's going to lead England to the promised land, the guy's going to lead Spurs to the promised land. But now that he's gone, do you think people are going to be justifying coming to watch Spurs play? I know Ange ball is, nice and it's offensive. I'm glad we had it, because if we played defensive football and we lost Harry Kane with the ticket prices increasing, I mean, I don't know if we're going to, especially like next season. I think you're going to see a lot of season ticket holders. I mean, just with Harry Kane leaving, I think you're going to see a huge decrease. But if we finish 10th, 12th, Harry Kane's gone, and just, palms facing the sky saying, I don't know what we're going to do next. He's not talking to nobody. I mean, I don't think anyone's going to be willing to keep paying that much.
You bring up a good point, but I honestly think that people are upset, but it's not going to be enough for people to give up their season ticket to. I honestly now believe, to be honest, where you will see people raise hell is if we get to a point, which I don't think our club will ever get to that point, where we're regulated. If we're in a regulation battle and we get regulated, then I think that will be like people will be up in arms. People will be up in arms about Kane, but um, it won't be enough, especially United. I mean, in the beginning, I thought, but as the show has gone on, I thought about it. This fan base is so weak. We accept, we accept everything. We 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 can sell Sunny tomorrow and don't have Kane and Sunny, and fans will still show up. Fans will gladly say, "Come on, you Spurs." Fans will they for some reason, man. It's just they are they they will say they go against the board, but in reality they won't do it. We're too prim and proper. We just talked about Patrick Tyrant. He has to wear the shirt and tie when he goes on last word of the show, and that's our fan base. It's the cheese room, whiting cheese, prim and proper. That's why when the Super League was going on, we were the weakest protest out of the six other top six. They're the five. They're protesting. They're raising hell. Our club, we wouldn't protest for even the Super League. So the only one time everybody was up in arms, to be honest, was when we were looking at the Italian coach, what's his name, Gattuso, because of some comments. People thought that was racist, xenophobic, and stuff like that. That was the only time in unison and Spurs was smart enough to say, whoa, okay, we're definitely not hiring him. That was
Mari, we are so politically woke driven as a fan base.
Exactly.
I've got nothing wrong if people want to be woke or if people want to be political, but you can't. There's no. Do you know what? When I started football coaching, one of the senior people said to me, "Don't ever mix religion and politics in football. Don't ever do it. Keep them out." Our fan base has got this political element. I've only really realized it the last year. People call it this middle ground, the moderates. It doesn't matter what you do; they will not accept anything outside of their remit. The messaging is wrong. Those colors that you use are like UKIP, who are racist. Oh, but you can't do this because of that reason. And no, but if one person is offended, then that's all it takes. So in their head, if there's 10,000 people in the room and one person is offended, that's it. Turn it all off. They are absolutely insane. Like it's at the heart of Tottenham, this politically driven lunatic asylum, and they are the majority. I'm telling you, they are the majority of fans now. I don't know where they've come from. I don't know how they've got in, but they run it. Unless it's their way, nothing else works. But their way is impossible to deliver. You can't deliver what they want because football isn't like that. But they want it to be. I don't get it, man. It drives me crazy.
Just to answer Paul's question, big up Paul. The only thing I could do, because I'm on the other side of the pond, is continue to promote the protests. Everybody knows if I was in the UK, man, I will be at every protest. If I can find a second person who could, I will drive to Tavistock. But even then, Joe Lewis, I guess, doesn't really own the club anymore. But
he does.
I mean, but I can go to Tavistock if someone can record me holding a sign protesting. I don't care if I'm the only person there. I can say Tavistock out, Enoch out, Levy out. I mean, that's the best I could do is continue to get people out of the Stockholm disease mode of just Levy saved us from the 90s. Oh, he saved us. Oh, we can never question him. Look at that new stadium, the game changer. Well, someone said this. Someone said this. It was actually David Harris. He says, I would rather go back to old White Hart Lane. Now, I believe that because that stadium was supposed to be a game changer. The game changer was supposed to be.
He's another one.
Hold on, let me finish the point. We don't sell our best player if that stadium was a game changer. If that stadium was a game changer, how do we get to a point where we are now? 4 years ago, Arsenal, I think on your stream, Estelle, you was saying 4 years ago, Arsenal was like, oh man, Tottenham is going to leave us behind. Because at that time, Poch left and Mourinho came in. And I remember that time because even some of my Arsenal friends like, oh, you guys got Mourinho. You guys mean business. 4 years later, they've left us behind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's Maury. You see David Harris, right? No, I'm not attacking him. I'm attacking what he's said, right? He said he will not say Enoch out. He will not say Levy out because of some of the people that go to the protest. So my message to fans like this is, if an individual dictates whether or not you're going to do something or not, then that individual owns you. Like they run you. You know, if I want to buy a chocolate, but someone that I dislike also wants to buy the chocolate, so I'm not going to buy chocolate. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy chocolate because that person buys it, but yet I really want the chocolate. How does that make any sense? But you know what it is? It's an excuse. They don't mean it. It's an excuse. It's bullshit. Mm-hmm. They say it because what they don't want to say is, actually, I don't have the balls to take action. I'm scared of what people will think of me if I take action, and I haven't got the backbone to put it out there because I'm worried you might unsubscribe, you might not like, and you might leave watching me. That's what's really happening. People care more about perception than actually backing the rather than showing some substance behind what they say. Because they might look at me and see the abuse. They might look at Brian Dagan and see the abuse. They might look at Scott and being called negative, right? And they think, I don't want that. Oh, you know what?
Nobody in the Spurs community wants to be me today.
No one wants to be Wall Street today for calling Harry Kane a traitor. But here's
every day. Well, every day. Today.
But you know what? With that, though, Will? But guess what, Will? You know how much I've been thinking about what you said and like how much I've been seeing people in the chat talk about what you said earlier? It's getting you traction. People are talking. Your name is in people's mouths. So you would even think
every single
if I just
stream
had the balls to say what I want to say and I see that people actually like what I'm saying, oh my God, how the world can open up for me making content. But you can't even, they can't even
And by the way, Harry Kane is a terrific human being now. Right? Once he puts his name, I'm not even kidding. Once he puts his name on that dotted line, he is the greatest academy prospect this club has ever produced. No one can compare. Not Hoddle, not anyone. Harry Kane should be the only man to have a trophy outside Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for eternity because he is the only one, the only world-class prospect that's ever come out of the academy that's had to deal with Daniel Levy and sacrificed his own personal well-being to help the club out even on his last day. And for that, Harry Kane, I salute you.
Question, Will, because I wasn't watching the channels. How many of them got your argument totally wrong?
All
I
of them.
assume all of them. All of them misunderstood it, right?
All of them.
And that's why we had people coming in and saying, "Is Will still saying that he's a traitor?" I'm like, if you're even asking that question, it shows you have no idea what
I said. Yeah.
So I assume.
And then on Twitter too. That's what I've spent all day doing is literally just telling people, read my fucking tweet. What if he signs a new contract? Read my tweet. What if he goes to Bayern? Read My tweet. It's not freaking right. You're so dumb. You're so ignorant. What do you know? He could sign a contract tomorrow. You have no idea. Read my tweet, then call me an idiot.
Will, I told you, it's a lunatic asylum. Honestly, it's like they've let us out.
I don't care if Huddle won trophies. I don't care. Harry Kane's the best.
They let us out before we were due to leave. They let us out too soon, and it's just chaos. It's just chaos out there now. They can't catch us. They can't bring us back in because there's not enough people to come and get the people they've let out. There's not enough officers.
Big up, Awesome R. Thank you for the super chat. While Todd are looking for cheap players to say no to Liverpool for 110
million.
It's sad for Todd.
Wow.
Todd is close to regulation this season. I don't think we're close to regulation, but
that's more than Harry Kane. That's more than Harry Kane.
8th, 9th, or 10th. And
no, I do want to big up. Can I big up some people though today based on Let me big up some people today. So big up to Sava. I've listened to Sava a couple times, and I agree with Sava 100%. Believe it or not. So, but on this particular case, I think Sava's spot on this one. Big up to Haas.
You can
big up to yeah. I'm
right.
gonna, yeah, okay. I'm gonna get a mood actually.
Just asking.
Haas. Big up to Haas for actually having me on his show and actually hearing what I had to say out. He questioned it.
Big up Sava. Big up Haas, man.
He put in his points that he wanted to say, but he had me on his show. He heard me out. And I think that him and Has, by the way, which I also have had a lot of run-ins with and particularly don't like, but big up to Has as well. He was considerate and listened and heard me out. And I respect people that do that. So, yeah, big them up tonight. See, I don't always call people out. I'm not always a dick.
We don't know what to say now.
I'm not just doing this.
No one knows what's saying that you've been nice.
I'm dead serious too. I'm not just saying this to like prove a point or make emotion. I'm 100% dead honest. I don't ever do anything for clout, show, fake, whatever. I do it because I believe it.
Do you know what, Will? I get messages from people once in a while, and they say to me, "Why the fuck are you on the same channel as Will? How can you handle that guy? He's ruining the channel." And my reply is always the same. Come on the show and debate him. What other channel allows views and opinions of someone that is prepared to back it up? Speak. Show me. Mm-hmm. Because Will, whether you hate him, love him, whatever, he will back it up. It's not like when people wake up, oh, Solomon's a good player because he beat a man. Right? No. Will actually think about it. He'll probably think about it, analyzing, like, okay, I'm going to come to a conclusion. And I think because most fans aren't like that, Will, they find you as a bit of a threat when you say something. They see you as a bit of a threat, I think.
Well, you know, people are intimidated by big dicks. I'm just saying.
See, yeah, but then when you say that, you fuck it all up. Like you fuck everything up. Everything up. That's like Donald Trump, isn't it? That's like Donald Trump. He'll say something really good. Yeah, Trump. And then he'll say, kill all the Muslims at the same time.
I get called a dick, right? I get called a dick.
Why would you say that? Why would you say that?
Big dick. It's a play on words. Come on. Don't hate on my bars. All right? The double meaning there. You know?
Oh, man. This is... So, does anybody change their mind on where we finished this season? I mean, the transfer window is still open 3 weeks. Now, I can officially say we're going to finish 8th. 7th. I'll say we'll finish 7th.
That's optimistic.
7th. We're not finishing top 6. Yeah, the goals may spread around. The defense is just, for me, it's not good enough. Not good enough.
Mari, don't you think it depends who we buy?
Big up the natural.
Don't you think it depends who we buy? Like okay, I know it's not going to happen, but if we sign a top centre back and we sign a decent replacement for Kane, like another striker, and maybe another number 6, just maybe, I think we are top 6 contenders if we do that. I do think that. Only because we haven't got that extra game midweek. I do think we will be in the mix.
if we get Tapsoba, then I'll change my mind. Because then you'll have Tapsoba with Romero and Vanderven in a rotation. I feel more comfortable with that. If Hoiberg leaves and we can get a replacement for him, then you know what? I agree with you. I think it will be a team that will be good enough to finish 6th, which is good. For me, and I need to do this on the other channel. I know people laugh at the conference league.
I don't
The
know.
conference league helps in coefficient because when you win the conference league, you get coefficient points. Those coefficient points goes towards the Club World Cup. Now you're wondering, oh, that tournament that they play every December. FIFA has changed it. Real Madrid and some of the big clubs are actually Real Madrid is preparing their team to win that competition, which is going to be United States in the summer. They're wanting it to be big like the World Cup. So the thing is, if you're able to, let's just say, win the Conference League or the Europa League, qualify for the Champions League, you will have enough points for that next Club World Cup. For example, Tottenham should have really made the Conference League and win it this year to make it. Now that they're being left out, they're losing that money. I know Daniel Levy's probably mad out of his mind that we at least we didn't qualify for the Conference Cup, but I think people are forgetting, and that's why I want to do a show about this, that the Club World Cup is now a new major tournament that's going to happen, and the qualifications from UEFA is your coefficient points. And winning the Conference League, yeah, it's the third European competition, but it's valuable coefficient points. And so I was going to do an hour stream on that because a lot of people are like, poo-pooing on that. No, there's value to winning the Conference League, and especially for our club, since we haven't really won a trophy in a long time, it would do something.
Our neighbors
Did
just
we win the
Okay.
Pirate? Did we win the Pirate Cup in Singapore? What's it called?
Yeah,
Tiger Cup.
Tiger, yeah, Tiger.
Tiger.
to echo
Respect
efficient.
it. Respect.
There's a
Charles and
couple
hat
of
trick.
things- There's a couple of things I wanted to say. First of all, thank you to Kane for all the services given the club. Secondly, I was working away listening to your stream earlier when Will come on.
A shit show of a show. Absolute shit show.
I know. I was laughing my ass off because, so many people took what Will said. If they'd have actually took the time to listen to what he was saying,
100%.
he wasn't wrong, really. But either way, I was fucking cackling. Thirdly, God, I hope we spend the money wisely. And fourthly,
That's the next problem. That's the next battle.
right, Europe's the furthest thing from my mind, Mari. Just fucking, I would just like us to not turn on the manager when things don't quite go right for the first 4 or 5 games. You know what I mean? That's all I'm hoping for. Anyway, said my bit.
Jason, do you know
Yes,
all
sir.
I hope? And I'm being realistic now, genuinely being realistic.
Yeah.
There's only one thing I hope next season. It's the only one thing I ask: that Arsenal don't win the fucking league. That's the only realistic.
They're not going to win the league.
Don't
I
say
don't know,
that.
man.
I hate when
I don't
people say
know.
that. I feel like you're going to bock it. They'll end up winning it.
I don't know, man.
I'll say it much just they're going to bottle it like they always bottle everything.
Nah, I just got a feeling. I've got a bad feeling this
Yeah,
year.
man.
Well,
City
if
need-
it was you, I'd have a dump then because your guts are playing up. It's got nothing to do with fucking Arsenal.
I have a question for everybody.
Yep.
Do we think that if we were so dross that we were in a relegation battle or we were to maybe get relegated, do you think that would actually push all the fans into a united force of being against this
No,
regime and kind of how things have been going? Do you think
they'll
that that
turn
would
on
be
the
enough,
manager.
or that
No, they'll
still
turn
would
on
not
each other.
do it?
They'll blame the manager. They won't
Blame
blame
the
Levy.
manager.
Yeah, the Bayern manager.
Wait a manager.
And
That's
Kane
what
for
they'll
leaving.
do.
That's what they always do.
They all
Yeah.
love Conte. They all love not Nuno. Jose. They all love him at the
Poch.
their part. They all love him, and then they get to a point, and this club is very smart in how they do it. To a point where the fans are like, "Oh, he needs to go. We don't like him and stuff." I like all these revisionist history. Oh, with Conte, like, you know what's so funny is, right? Some of my Italian friends, non-Spurs fans, right? They laugh at us like, "How do you guys hate on Conte? Yeah, I know it wasn't the prettiest football, but the guy is a winner. The guy's a winner.
Mhm.
How do you complain?" And I'm just like, well, our fan base is a little bit weird, and it's just all this love for Ange, and for me, I love the guy. I feel sorry for him because I know what's the output or what's the end result.
Do
If
you
he doesn't,
think?
if he
Do you
doesn't
think
get,
he feels relieved now it's done? Do you think he's up? Fuck, that's finished. Now I can just move on.
I think he is
Yeah,
relieved.
No, it's probably pissed off that it wasn't earlier.
No, I think he
Well,
is
yeah.
relieved because now it takes out that black cloud of okay, is Kane gonna be here whatsoever, and now he can do what he like wants to do with this team.
In a
And
weird
so
way.
this year, I don't think he has nothing
He's
to
got
worry.
his get out of jail free card. Like,
Yeah,
if
don't
he,
that give him a bit of leeway?
he'll
But
turn around and say, if he fails, he'll turn around and say, well, they put Harry Kane off of me.
yeah,
Like,
next season number 2 will be the key. Season number 2 will be the key in the sense of, okay, if he really doesn't get us Champions League, leaving the board may be like, all right, what's going on? The fan base, will start questioning. Okay, it's really year 2. I think this year is really a free pass.
No. No, you
I,
need to give him 3
No.
seasons. No. This rebuild is a basically impossible task. To become what we were back in 17, 18, was it 16, 17? It'll take a while, Mari. It'll take a long time.
Rebuild. It's a demolition job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you have to
That-
get rid
Remove
of
the whole
people.
thing.
You have
By
to
the
get
way,
rid of
that
people.
ain't a bad shout by Danny. FYI.
yeah, but you can't go anywhere near him until his ban's over. You can't even discuss terms with him or anything.
Would Daniel Levy touch a player who was banned for betting against his own club? Like, would Daniel
Well,
Levy do that?
No.
he bought a player that had a cloud over his name that kind of got cleared up.
He bought look what he bought in with Paratici. he bought
Yeah,
someone who was
but
corrupt. Like,
Partici's situation was different. Partici was not yet accused. He was still under. He was not even under investigation.
he was under investigation. Like, from the reason why they all planned and done, the reason why Paratici done a runner was because he knew it was going to catch up with him. So he thought he can leave the country that way legally. He won't be able. There